Eagles! It's game day. It's game day. Wow. Where to start? Where to start? Let me first say that tonight is a critical point in the Philadelphia Eagles season, organizationally, and also when it comes to potentially what you may or may not do when it comes to the postseason. We've had a pretty interesting weekend, to say the least, here. And I want to say this right out of the gate here. I've talked to many of the Philadelphia Eagle players. I just shown Tone a text message that I got from Darius Slay. Yes, Darius Slay. And I want to go in chronological order in how this weekend panned out in all the news that has happened and how it impacts tonight's football game. By the way, just so you know, again, I just showed Tone this. And by the way, Darius Slay is going to try to join us someday this week. And we appreciate it. And when he does, Darius sent me, we had a nice conversation. We spoke. He wanted to set the record straight. So let's go in order here. First, Slay wanted to set the record straight with me. I'm not an asshole. Here, and I'll read you the text. People never pulled up the entire clip. This is referencing when he said, I played great and everyone else sucked. Only parts of the podcast that pays me always want me to give detail on how I played so fans can live in a player's world. But for dang near the entire show, I talked about team. I talked about us as a unit. He goes, I was kind of saying it in a bit half-heartedly. And I said, that's fair. And I appreciate he didn't have to reach out to me. But he felt compelled. Get this, he unblocked me and then wanted to reach out to me, and we spoke. I think that was big of him. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, he could have reached out to anybody, but he reached out to me. Look, I'm not apologizing. I said that I would be fair. Okay? I said I would be fair. Now, obviously, Denny goes and has arthroscopic surgery. And arthroscopic surgery doesn't mean he's lost for the year, but he's gone for tonight. That's a big miss, not having him on the field against Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Okay, so that's news number one, is that Darius Slay and I are on talking terms, and he's going to try to jump on the program, and we'll have a frank conversation. Okay? Again, one more time. Nobody's apologizing. He's not. I'm not. He just wanted to set the record straight. Okay. Hurts downgraded. If we hear any news on tonight, he's ill and he's got an illness, we'll further that along to you. But as of right now, I'm assuming he's playing. I would have no other indication that he's not playing. Illness? I mean, seriously, that's for him to be quarantined away from the other players. He must be really sick for them to do that. Okay. Rocksteady goes, Geno's not starting. I wouldn't take anything for granted right now if you're the Eagles. Your organization is wobbling. I concern myself with me right now, and not so much about the Seahawks stuff. I wouldn't be worrying about anything in Seattle. I'd be worrying about the enemy within. So don't be throwing shit out there about, well, Seattle doesn't have that. Don't worry about Seattle right now. You got enough concerns. We're going to talk about tonight's game, and I'll tell you what I see and how I see this game tonight. Then, the absolute bullshit theatrical play that the Eagles put on last week was exactly what I told you they were doing. They were setting the table for something. I didn't know. By the way, when I had a conversation on Friday with Tone, I said this was for Nick. For some reason, it was for Nick. Now we know. Nick Serianni had no say in this demotion, firing of Sean Desai at all. On a Tuesday, he's telling us, I have every guy in the building, and he said there'd be no changes. By the way, let me back up for a second. I don't have a problem with you making a move. I have a problem with the way you handle it. And by the way, if I was a local sports guy and a beat writer that covers that team, I would be so pissed off at the Eagles that it's more important to give Jay Glazer and Adam and all those national guys the news before your local guys who put their heart and soul each and every single day into covering your team. What a slap in the face. This is the second year in a row that Bob Lang and the Eagles do business backhanded when it comes to their local media people. Last year in the playoffs, we learned that Jalen Hurts couldn't lift his arm through Peter King. Then this year, we get on Sunday that the DC's been fired. Nobody locally had it. Hey, you can have all these guys bullshit you and hey, well, we've been hearing. That's not true. They're covering their ass because they got scooped. The Eagles, they bullshit the local media and are truthful with the national media because they're more worried about the national perception of how they're seen than they are locally. They know they can control the local media because you know why? You don't want to play ball? We'll take our team right off your radio network or your TV set. We run this thing here. We set the table. They completely show you, without a doubt, they have complete control of the local media in Philadelphia. It's actually a disgrace. Again, I'm not pissed off they made a move. Not late in the year, you can bitch about it. You know, you're in the driver's seat, kind of, so to speak. San Francisco's probably in a better position. We'll see what happens this week against the Ravens. You get past Seattle, I think you've got a clear sailing, potentially to a 14-3. So you fire a DC and you go 14-3. That's not panic. Hey, again, you're not scooping me because I know who you are. You got to understand something about the PR department in Philly. I knew Bob Lang from San Francisco. I know how he does business. I know how they do business, man. I've known that guy for 15 years. I think you fired the wrong coordinator in my book, but hey, I'll make a point to that here in a minute. I mean, thank God it's Seattle tonight, which is not going to be an easy putt for them. Slay's out. Juergens is out. Cunningham is out. And you got a sick quarterback. Damn, dude. That's how you go about your business. The way you put that theatrical thing on. Hey, from now on, anytime they pull all that bullshit out there like that, practices on Thursday, Jalen doing up downs, make the coach look like he's got complete control of the team, then you fire your D coordinator the next day. Come on, man. Or on Sunday, on the eve of a Monday Night Football game. That organization, the enemy within. Hey, I'll say it one more time to you. If you remember right at the beginning of the year, I said to you that Sean Desai was going to have an absolutely tough time of it this year because he's not going to have the same personnel and you're playing better quarterbacks. And it's exactly how it played out. I have not been wrong on one thing this year with this team, especially on the defensive side of the football. I was on the dot, the green dot, with Nadine. I said that guy wouldn't make the year and he will be a disaster. From March, I said that. Gannon's going to look 10 times better because he played shitty quarterbacks last year and the 31st week of schedule. Desai's going to be the scapegoat. He is the scapegoat, by the way, for Howie's failures. What an absolute disastrous failure year for Howie Roseman. Both coordinator hirings, terrible. The linebacker position, garbage. Dean, faith in the wrong guy. Lack of cornerback depth. Lack of edge depth. I mean, 12 new faces in first-year roles on your coaching staff. Complete almost turnover in your coaching staff. I mean, how much is this Desai's fault? Honestly, how much of it is Sean Desai's? Wow, you guys are going way over the top. That's player accountability, too. Those players are playing the best they can. The defense is not going to play any better. That's what it is. You're blaming Sean Desai for a JV defensive football team. Should they play better? Get this. I heard that guy Selski talking about guys not lining up or playing a play right. That's not scheme. That's reps and not knowing what to do because you haven't seen it enough. There's a reason those linebackers were all cut. You could tell a player all you want where to line up and who to cover. If he doesn't have that skill set to do it, it doesn't matter what you tell him. He's not good enough. You guys are looking at Sean Desai like when you look at a batting instructor and blaming him for Bryce Harper's woes and not having a good year hitting. That's Bryce Harper. It's not a batting instructor or a hitting coach. No. I'm not saying 357. I'm not saying the move is bad. I'm saying the way they went about their business doing it. It's more important for the impression in how it looks and how they did this. And here, you want to know what dysfunctional is? Let me give you the definition of dysfunctional. I'm firing the defensive coordinator and his play calling duties. Yet I'm not taking the title away from him. I'm giving him to Matt Patricia. Yet not calling him the D coordinator, and he will make all decisions in game when it comes to play calling. And we're not going to call him D coordinator, and we're going to keep both guys on the staff. That's dysfunctional. Why can't you cut it clean? Cut the umbilical cord. You're out. Get out. Jesus criminy. Dude, the lack of leadership shows you exactly what's wrong with that team. Nick Serianni's a librarian. From day one, I've told you that, and I'm sticking to that. Hey, man, we got our guy. Come Sunday, he's fired? Guy's a bullshit artist. But yet, you know what? You paint this out to be something it's not. Say what it is. Why are you trying to make a narrative into something that you're looking at into something else? You had a coach come out when asked explicitly, are you making any changes? Shit, people thought Nick Serianni was going to take over the play calling. No, we're good. We got our guys. I'm very comfortable with our guys. Brian Johnson's doing a good job. Sean Desai's doing a great job. Those were words. I'm paraphrasing. In a matter of 3 days, that changed. That's because the powers above came down and said, I had enough. The owner said, I've had enough. He panicked. This is a panic move. Okay? Okay? This is what they did to Doug Peterson. Isn't it funny how it unraveled after the 17th season with a couple glitches? Hey, by the way, you destroyed a quarterback in Wentz, and he wasn't strong enough to dig his way out of it. What impact does this have on Jalen Hurts and his development? Let's not try to destroy him also because of your meddling and incompetence with shitty hires. I mean, this is history repeating itself. Okay? Someone goes, Sean Desai's not Doug Peterson. That's what makes it even more obnoxious why you fired Doug. You did the same thing to Doug you're doing to Sean Desai. You made an overnight decision. That's why these coaches are expendable. When you're hired in Philly, you got an end date, and that sand dial gets turned on you immediately. No matter what you do. Remember this, the day you are hired, there is a due date for you to be fired in Philly because nobody in that building above the coaching staff is going to be fired. How about the analytics guys? How come nobody gets fired in that department? How come nobody gets fired in the scouting department? How come nobody gets fired in Jeffrey Lurie's department? All the coaches get fired. What about the analytics guy that gave the sigh? You had players like Kevin Byard coming out going, hey, maybe we could put our own information together. That was a telltale sign that they weren't getting proper intel. Where were the coaches getting it from? Frank Reich said it. Analytics guys. How come nobody gets fired in the analytics department or the personnel department? Because they're Howie's guys. Just like Howie doesn't cut his guys. Every single thing I've pointed out to you. By the way, I disagree with 99.9% of the people that cover your team. The key fob's important. Can I tell you this? The guy who did the best job over the weekend was John McMullen. John McMullen did the best job. I listened to John. John was as good as you can get. Birds 365, John is as good as, John did a great job over the weekend. The rest of them, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I heard a guy actually say that Nick is has more of a pushback than Doug. How could that be when you were kissing the ass of your coordinator? Hey, if that's the case, why didn't Nick fight for Desai? Desai staying on the staff is now a distraction. Get this. Shit, man, at the beginning of the year, we thought Matt Patricia was a distraction. Now it's reversed. Hey, by the way, how much impact did Patricia have all year long on the defense? Or did he not? What was he doing? Didn't he have any accountability in this? He was a senior assistant to Serianni. It's just all over the place. So you keep a guy on your staff that you humiliated. Is that right? That's dysfunctional. That's people who don't make clear-cut decisions. That's corporate company shit. So you demote a coordinator in week 15. Again, it's not the fact that they want to make some changes. It's the same shit how they took away the offensive play calling from Nick Serianni. They just yanked it away from him. Nick gave it up. Only seven weeks on the job. Yeah, okay, sure. How dumb is that take? We called this from the beginning. If Desai slipped once, he would be cut for Patricia. Patricia was a safety blanket all along. So get this. That's tone. How about this one then? So once you named Sean Desai your defensive coordinator, you already were hedging your bets at the beginning of the year because you didn't really like the hire. So you brought in Patricia. Talk about lack of conviction. What, you don't think the players saw that too? The organization didn't have conviction in Desai. Because you know what they did? They hired a babysitter and Matt Patricia in case the guy fell out of the crib, and he did. Or they pushed him out. That's how you hire a coordinator? And you know what you can do? No wonder Fangio wanted no part of the Eagles. The way they do business, that's not cool. See, you could do that to a young coordinator like Desai. You can't do that to a veteran coordinator. Okay? There's LJ coming to the rescue of like the total mouthpieces in Philadelphia, like nothing's a problem, and that he loves the bullshit. There's a portion like LJ who doesn't think that this is insulting all around to the players. To like, get this, you don't have to tell the media anything, but you don't have to lie. I mean, what's the point in lying? What's the point of lying? Changes? Why don't you have some conviction with your change? LJ goes, changes happen all the time. Really, how many jobs have you ever been in where you were demoted, they elevated a guy below you, and you stayed in the building? I can't think of one job that ever happened to me. How about you? Hey, we're taking all your responsibilities away and hiring the guy under you. Right? Hey, don't worry about it. The guy who's been watching over you, your babysitter, he's taking your job. That's right, man. Hey, I have more gosh dang respect, like Tone just said, if you just plain out fired me. Instead of this half-ass sideshow, which the Eagles are known for. You guys buy into all this, or not all of you. Some of you guys buy into this bullshit. I never have. Ever since they sent me those text messages about how they wanted me to talk about Nicky Scarfo. Oh, excuse me. Nicky Serianni. If Desai becomes a coach of another team, the Eagles get compensation pick. Perhaps that's a reason. That's not a reason they did that. Okay? It's about to happen when Tone takes your show. I love how LJ says that when they gave me an extra hour. Think about what JAKIB did in the Krauses. LJ's talking about my show being taken from me, and they gave me an extra hour and a raise. That's right, LJ. Talk about dumb. 4 hours, guy. 4 hours. Nobody does what I do. And by the way, he is a star, and he should get his own show. Dude, aren't you upset by the way your organization... You know what's going to stop you from winning back-to-back opportunities at Super Bowls? Is your own internal enemy. Something I've been telling you for the entire year. How about this? The players are winning ball games in spite of the chaos behind them. It's not fair to decide how many times will ESPN show him in the booth tonight. Got in front of the country. Yeah, you're going to. So get this. Here's the guy who's been demoted. Sean Desai, congratulations. There's the guy they demoted. LJ is an unpaid Eagle PR intern. Dude, honestly, who cares? Appreciate that, though, Shooter. No, you got a portion of your organization. LJ was the same kind of guy telling me that Kobe Dean was going to be a superstar. Or that defense was going to be just as good this year as it was a year ago. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. It's got too much airtime as is. He's done for the day. You could put your little aluminum foil hat on now, sit in the corner there, boss. We're good. By the way, I want to do this. I do not want a balanced football game tonight. I do not want a balanced football game. Not at all. Okay? Not at all. I do not want a balanced at all attack tonight. I want to have a one-sided football game. One-sided football game tonight. I don't want balance. I don't want anything. I want you to win the game. I don't want 25 passes and 25 runs. I want 100 runs and 7 completions. I want to win the game. I don't care about balance tonight. You give me one-sided tonight against a horrible run defense, you'll win the game. You start throwing the ball around, you'll lose the game. I'm going to get to what I think happens tonight. Last night, Joe Brady showed you exactly how to win a football game. That has been an upgraded coordinator. The Bills look like the team to beat in the AFC, and that's the team I picked to go to the Super Bowl because that team, when playing like that, is scary. Hey, Sills, other than moving money around, should Howie be put back in the closet, or is Lori scared to give control and not have another Chip Kelly? Dude, that organization will always be run by that guy, and that guy will always end up running that organization. You'll have peaks and valleys. You'll never have consistent winning. It'll be like this. You know why? He has to have control completely of the personnel and the purse strings. He spends no money on, very little, any money on defense, all the money on offense, because that's what the owner wants. Dude, you're so predictable in your organization on how you do business. It's not that hard to figure out what and how you do business. And the theatrical plays that you put on to send a message, you telegraph everything you do. It's not very well concealed how you do business. Okay? You get this. Jerry Jones. Okay? Jerry Jones doesn't get to Super Bowls anymore. Okay? Because he wants to do things his way. Howie Roseman doesn't win Super Bowls because Howie Roseman didn't win that Super Bowl. Doug Peterson did. Sorry, Howie. I know you want to put your name on every ring that was made that year. And this is why his insecurity is as high as it is, to try to erase the Boston Scots off the roster and all that other shit. He erases Doug Peterson's name as much as he possibly can. And Chip. That's why they honor Deshaun Jackson and they do all that other dumb shit. Howie Roseman has his insecurity complex when it comes to Doug Peterson because Doug won that Super Bowl. Doug coached that team. He's the one that coached that team. He's the one that put the team in a position to win. And then he had to answer for winning. Think about that. So you have to answer for beating Chicago by 2 points. You have to answer Probably for Philly. Howie went along for the ride. Howie went along for the ride and taking it. You know what he's doing? Howie Roseman went along for the ride and he's taking full credit for the 17 Super Bowl. You know how he did that? Firing Doug. Tom Brady, 75% responsible for the dynasty in New England. 85% responsible for the 17 Super Bowl with Doug Peterson. Howie gets the other 15. You know why? Because you fired him. And you sabotaged him. You were so insecure, you sabotaged him. If you'll put that theatrical plan like you did last week, you'll sabotage anybody to make it look good for you. Nobody ever gets fired in the personnel department, ever. Ever. Analytics guys have been around for 16 years. That's by design. Somebody said, still talking about 17? Yeah, because you know why? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. The way you operate hasn't changed. Yeah. Inferior coaches. Yes men coaches. Babysitters. You hired a babysitter for a guy who was the third choice at D coordinator. I mean, remember we went on here going, why is Matt Patricia here? Howie was the caboose on that championship run. Doug was the engine. That's a fact. Yeah, let me do this. I didn't finish this. I didn't finish this guy's failures. He fires the D coordinator the eve of the Monday night game. Couldn't replace Gardner Johnson. And now he's telling you it's coaching. You know why he's telling you it's coaching? Do you know why that narrative with all the Philadelphia media people? You know why? Why do you tell me why you think that narrative has to be it's the size fault mainly? Why? Because those are Howie's players. Those are Howie's players. Someone has to be the fall guy. And he's publicly embarrassing him to show you that. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. You embarrassed yourself for no reason. Howie hired everything on that defense. The coordinator, the assistant coaches, brought in the players, drafted them, and it's Sean Desai's fault. With inexperience and players who are not good enough to play. Whoever thought you have 3 linebackers on your football team that were cut this year? You had one guy in Christian Ellis who started for you, and you whacked to make room for Shaq Leonard. Who wins Super Bowls? I heard that McClain guy talking about, well, you know, really don't have to put a lot of emphasis on linebackers. You know, that's a little overrated. Then he points out the fact that Fred Taylor was taken in the 3rd. Yeah. Lynch landed on a gold mine in the third. When's the last time Howie has ever landed on a gold mine with a linebacker in any round? Greenlaw and Warner are the best duo in the league, and they weren't first rounders. It contradicts it. You contradict it. That entire Legion of Boom that Dan Quinn, Gus Bradley, and Pete Carroll built were built off of non-first round draft choices. They landed on draft picks. Yeah, here. Thank you, Arthur. Nakobe Dean's a third rounder. So was Fred Taylor. Who hit on his backer? Perfect. Thank you, Arthur. The Niners draft Fred Taylor in the third. And the Eagles draft Nakobe Dean in the third. What a chaos weekend for them. What a chaotic weekend for the Eagles. Complete chaos. And self-inflicted. Oh, and you got a game tonight. Here's how I see the game playing out tonight. Both quarterbacks go into the game questionable. Okay? Geno Smith most likely not going to play. Last week, Drew Lock threw for 22 for 31, 260, 2 touchdowns, also had 2 picks in the game. I believe that was against San Francisco. Eagles defense now is 23rd against the pass. You're terrible. Hey, get this. Hey, well, Drew Lock's starting. Geno's out. So you suck against everyone. You make it sound like you're good. Okay, so it's a push. Drew Lock, terrible quarterback, versus your shitty secondary with no Slay. Okay, it's a push. Oh, wait, it can't be a push because they got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and the rookie kid. They actually got a better wide receiver room than you as a group. Who's your 3 guy? I mean, here's something to think about, too. The Philadelphia Eagles defense, I'm sure this is Sean Desai's fault, is 48.1% on giving up first downs on third down. Dead last in the league. That's his fault? How about make a play? No Slay Hurts. Pro Football Focus had him at around 70% when it came to his ranking, 70, 68.8. That hurts, man. That's right, Rocksteady. Sean Desai doesn't make tackles or miss tackles. So worst tackling football team in the league. Here's what I think happens with the difference with Patricia. Hey, by the way, let me ask you something here. This is just a theory of mine. Isn't it funny the first day that Matt Patricia becomes the play calling D coordinator, Slay's out. Probably coincidence. You think we see Slay again? Had a conversation at the beginning of the year. Everything okay? Remember I said this. You think we see Slay again? Out of nowhere. Arthroscopic surgery on the first day in game that Matt Patricia's the play caller. You think there's something to it or no? You think that's what? Just coincidence? Because the Eagles do things above board. No, I'm asking a question. No, I said it's a theory. But don't you find it ironic that the first game that a guy has to stop DK Metcalf, the best cover corner's gone? Emergency arthroscopic surgery? I've never heard of that, actually. I mean, I'm sure all of you out there probably reading it different. Nah, it's just coincidence. Matt Patricia traded him when he was the head football coach of the Lions because he said he wasn't a good cover corner and a good press corner. And now he's not playing tonight. Hey, I don't know. Or maybe Slay didn't want to play with him. Maybe Slay didn't want to play. That's why he had it. I would not call the surgery an emergency. Oh, so it's not an emergency surgery? You just decided to have it? Oh, okay. So once you got the heads up that Sean Desai wasn't going to be play calling and you're Darius Slay, and you know that he wants to play more press because that's what he does, because that's what he did in New England, you have surgery. That's a solid move. Maybe Slay didn't want to play for Patricia. He's been managing the knee all year. Now he's having surgery. Coincidence? Okay, just atone. Sure. I'm sure. Because those two guys have a wonderful relationship. I know, Tone. Tone's agreeing with me. All year long, he could have had that arthroscopic surgery. He could have did it next week when you don't need him against the Giants. But I'll do it against Seattle because I got to go against DK Metcalf. Woo! Come on now. Say it with me, you pancake. No, say it with me. You Philly cheesesteak eaters, say it with me. So who's more likely? Slay didn't want to play for Patricia calling plays, or Patricia didn't want Slay? Shit, after that whole theater play last week, I believe anything. Woo! How about Darius Slay going to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and Robert Bailey telling little Sills a little thing, or maybe Slay saying something, I don't want to play for this guy. Making that up, Sills. Yeah, just like, You mean Nick made up the fact that he was comfortable with his coordinators on Tuesday? 3 days later, he fired one of them? Like that above board? Again, I'm not pissed off at the move. I'm pissed off how you get there. I'm upset how you got there. You're not honest. That's what happens when you have people above. Instead of the main rooster in the hen house making the decision, that's when you're running your football team from the owner's box instead of from the locker room. That's the disconnect you get. Philly goes, is this guy an Eagle fan? No. I don't have a favorite team. That's why I give you fair and unbalanced. Sometimes. Anybody who gives fair and balanced, that parades himself as a journalism, that's not what I do. I give you my take. Funny how running the ball actually works. Football is entertaining, but it's first about winning games. When did winning not become entertaining? JH, your owner is like a theatrical guy. He loves the theater of everything. You think last night completing 7 passes and running the ball for 40? Hey, let me ask you this. If they had played against the Cowboys the way the Bills did, and remember what we told you, how you beat Dallas? You got to run the ball. Micah Parsons is soft. He had no tackles in the game. He's soft. I told you that. They ran at him the entire night. He's soft. Lurie's a Hollywood guy. He loves. That's right. He's ecstatic. He does. He totally does. Dude, would Nick Serianni, tone everyone, would Nick Serianni have to answer for a game plan like the Bills ran at Dallas last night? Would he have to answer for that game plan even though they won 31-10 and they completed only 7 footballs? Think about that. They threw 15 passes. 15 passes. Would Serianni have to answer on how they won that game? By the way, that game was not competitive. That game was not competitive. Philly could have did the same shit. The Eagles have the same. The Eagles not only have the same, but probably better personnel than what Buffalo does. By the way, man, I'll tell you something. When Josh Allen plays like that, Josh Allen, get this. Let me show you something that's even more obnoxious. Josh Allen last night, having only completed 7 passes, was spectacular last night in how he ran that football team. Because he wasn't worried about statistics, nothing. He found a weakness in Cowboys, and he isolated on it, and they stuck to their guns. Low percentage turnover plays, ran the ball, won the game, kept themselves in the playoff hunt, and blew out the Cowboys. I mean, who cares? That's how you win a ball game. Hey, there's no style points in the NFL on how you win. That's only in the upstairs owner's box in Philadelphia. 7 completions and destroyed one of the hottest teams in the league and a team that just cleaned your clock. They cleaned Dallas's clock. Patricia's probably going to do the one thing that he's known for. There'll be a lockdown on DK Metcalf tonight. But with who? You don't have a guy back there in your secondary that's capable of covering him. I think Tyler Lockett's probably going to have a gargantuan game. I don't give a shit if they bring Jim Zorn out of retirement. I mean, he's going to have a big game. All you have to do is throw a 3-yard pass. And do you think they're all of a sudden going to change the way they cover receivers? You think they're going to crowd the ball more? Or they're going to play 10 yards off the ball more? You're going to have to play even deeper off the ball because you have lesser talent. I mean, you have lesser talent going into this game versus exceptional wide receiver talent. The Seahawks are superior to you on the numbers defensively without Slay out there. They're superior to you. DK Metcalf. So, you think Bradbury's covering him? He'll eat him up. All you have to do is throw him a 2-yard pass, and he'll out-muscle him. Again, if you have Tyler Lockett, I would think a Sam Howell game plan is going to be in effect. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. They're going to be open. I mean, they're going to be open. Right? I mean, Washington has inferior talent. Hurts is ill. And to what extent he plays will be the factor in this ball game tonight. Once again, Seahawks can't stop the run. But because there's a directive from the owner not to run the ball anymore, you'll make the game close. The general manager and the owner don't want to run the ball. So you'll play right into Pete Carroll's hands. They can't stop the run either. I would run the ball 55 times tonight. Hurts is ill. You've got chaos in your locker room right now. Settle it down with a win. Calm it down. Thank God Hurts is there. Barb goes, Danny, Seattle isn't good. Neither's your defense. It's the worst in the league. You're making it sound like you have studs on defense. You have nothing but Carter and Reddick. The rest of them have been below average. All of them. Every single one of them. You're making it sound like you're good on defense. You're the worst football team on third down in the National Football League. Teams are completing on third down over 75% completion. That doesn't matter who's quarterbacking all year. Here's how I have it. I have it 29-20 Eagles if Hurts plays. If he doesn't play, Seahawks win this game 26-24. So I'm going to land on one of these right now, and I'm going to assume, okay? I'm going to assume Hurts plays 29-20. Philly late. Hurts has to play for them to win. If he doesn't, they won't win. $29-20, Eagles. I do want to throw the caveat out. Somebody just said, how's the Seahawks O-line? How's your D-line? I mean, do you think you can keep an opponent under 100 yards rushing? That might be a start. Annette goes, Sills, you want us to win? Come on now. I don't want you to do anything. I'm telling you what I think happens. I want you to win. I don't want anything. Except the new laptop. Mine keeps shutting off. How much damage do you think this bullshit has been on Hurts' development this year all around the organization? With the train. Hey, by the way, let me ask you something even more important now. If they've done this sabotaging to Sean Desai, is Brian Johnson next? Say they have a poor showing tonight. Does Johnson get removed? You don't really believe that they just had a conversation on one side of the ball, do you? About the coordinators. They had a conversation about both coordinators. This was a decision that was made between two men. Then they brought Nick in probably to tell him what direction they were going. That's why the full padded practice Thursday, Hurts doing up and downs. By the way, they're setting Brian Johnson up next. He's the next pendulum. They could have brand new play calling people by the time they get to the playoffs. Serianni could be back to being the play caller. And Patricia will be the defensive play caller. There you get a little more experience. It's not a bad idea. And then you bring Frank in as a consultant down the stretch for Nick. I don't think so because offense is top 10. The sad part, all of this, they are making a spectacle of themselves. This is tone talking. Coordinators get fired all the time. Absolutely. That's not the problem. Where's the courage of your convictions? Shit, they didn't have it, Tone, when they hired Desai at the beginning. If Desai was not getting the job done, just fire him. It's all good. Hey, right, stand by your convictions. You got to understand something, though. Howie's afraid to confront his failures. So what he does is he holds on to players too long. He doesn't fire those guys that he drafts. And if you're a homegrown guy, your chances of making the team and staying on the team are better than, say, if you were traded for or you're a UDFA. You know why Howie Roseman moved off of TJ Edwards the way he did? Sure, he developed him, paid him nothing, but he never drafted him. He found him. That's not good enough for him. He wants to he wants you to know. Because again, you know one thing you can say about Belichick? How many people say that Belichick, about Brady parachuted in to the Patriots? He did. Bill developed him, though. I like what you're saying, but they don't do it because the analytics says they're top. That's right. And by the way, where's Jalen in all this? Where's Hurts in this? Brian Johnson's next. They lose that game tonight, or it looks awful offensively versus, like Barb says, a very suspect Seattle team. Eagles are more secretive than the U.S. government. I think RTF, I think they telegraph all their shit. I don't think they're very good at what they do. Because to me, I saw it all last week. I had a conversation with my guy, Tone, and I was telling you, well, they're doing it for some reason, and I assumed it was for the coach, and it was. At the end of the day, you know what it turned out to be? They were planning to fire the D coordinator so the coach would still look in power. And you can have those bullshit narratives. Nick pushed back. Nick lies. Hey, but I told you that. Coaches lie all the time. It's not like, and plus he's a cheerleader. He's at the Walgreens picking up his prescription. Yeah. No balls to do anything with conviction. Take a look at your play calling on offense. All you need to know about convictions. Got too many voices. Hey, I'm telling you, you got too many voices in the building right now. That's what you got. Your general manager's not elite. Your general manager is an elite bullshit artist too. His best year was last year. 17. Oh, Dougie. Jim Schwartz. Frank Reich. 3 head coaches in the NFL under Doug. 85% Doug, 15% Howie. Howie Roseman, in my opinion, I will never give him credit for that Super Bowl. It's all Dougie. Go ahead, run it. You know what you would have had to have done? You guys ever see Ford versus Ferrari, that movie? You'd have had to take that file of the Philly special and run it through 19 floors before it got to the CEO, Henry Ford III. And while you're sitting there, you would have had to go through all the dead weight that you have in your organization to come to a decision after all those hands put their hands on whether or not that play would work or not. Then it gets to you. And this is what I say. Well, one day you'll figure it out. There's got to be one man that runs this thing. Okay? You can't run it, and you can't win Le Mans by committee. There's got to be one guy making decisions. You got that red file going through analytics, scouting, coaching. Finally gets to the owner. Nick did to decide what he did to himself. Strip play. So you think Nick Serianni, after 7 games, took the play calling duties away from himself? Yeah, because that's normal. I think because I should be the better man, we're 2-5. Here, Shane. Save us. What a dumb take. Hey, you said how he deserved. No, I didn't. Oh, wait. Because of the Carter pick, yeah. And you know what we were led to believe? That all these moves that he made, and we all kept saying, wait a minute. No. I said it because of the way he constructed the Jalen Hurts contract. Yes, I did say that. Yes. Because you know what he did? Stroke of genius. Howie's a bookworm, not a personnel guy. 100% I said, you give Howie Roseman a raise for the way he constructed that $250 million contract. Absolutely true. Stroke of genius. As a personnel guy, he blows. Once again, Jalen Carter fell in his lap. I wonder what kind of play we're going to have tomorrow if they lose. Holy cow, you want to know? Hey, more heads will roll. Brian Johnson must be in fear of his job tonight. Would you not agree? Brian Johnson knows his time's coming too. Would you not agree to that? Would you not agree? Woo! Hey, Nick. Here, once again, before we take a timeout, Nick, I don't mind you, and Howie and Jeffrey, I don't mind you making a move. I mind what kind of connivers you are. Now I know you did sabotage Doug. Now I know how you run your thing. And the reason you didn't win a Super Bowl 10 months ago, you guys get in your way, man. Thank God Doug Peterson. You had Doug in the building. Shit. Nick Foles wasn't even a Howie guy. He was an owner guy. Joe's the wrong dude, man. Got a bunch of lawyers and accountants running this team. Correct. And you got too many voices, Q. You run this team like I told you that movie, like Ford Motor Company runs theirs when they're trying to make a decision on a paint job. 72 guys have to give their okay, and it goes through different opinions before it gets to any kind of person that makes a decision on it. And decisions are made at the Eagles by committee, not by conviction. That's why you're 10-3 and you don't act it. Get this. Do we not agree? The Eagles are 10-3 and they don't even act it themselves. Is that fair? You're 10-3 and don't act like it. You're 10-3 and don't act like it. Here. Arthur's so awesomely true. Best record in football last 2 years and nothing to show for it. Pretty standard. Best record in football. Great illusion. What do you have to show for it? Nothing. You ain't winning a Super Bowl. You're going to have the best record. Get this. You're going to be potentially, if Jalen plays tonight, 28-6 in regular season football without a Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Hey, oh, that's it. You're becoming the Bills of Jim Kelly's era. The only difference is, at least they got there. Congratulations to you, Rhonda, Jersey, Brian of Texas, our winners for our coupons with our Hooters folks here on a Football Monday. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much for being part of that during this December time. We want to thank our friends at Hooters. Again, January 6th, we're going to be back at King of Prussia. We're looking forward to that. 1-6, we will be back there, and I promise you I will get a Philly cheesesteak, Tone. I promise you. Tone's very down on me over that. Speaking of Tone, he'll join us at 3:30 Eastern. As always, we will have on Gary Cobb at 4:30. By the way, tomorrow at 4:30, Angelo Cataldi will be with us. And we will have him on with us. So, Tone will be with us here in a bit here at 3:30. And also Gary Cobb will be with us. That'll be at 4:30. Don't forget also the Sandy Bucks. They're there for you, $5. The gift cards, great stuff, stuffing stockers. Very good. Stocking stuffers for you to be able to put inside for your ones to have a great time when you go over to Hooters. The calendars are there, by the way. $100 gift cards and coupons are inside the calendars 2024. If you don't want to go into the places, HootersToGo.com. You can go to the app. You can get an opportunity to bring some of the best food. I had some food 2 Saturdays ago. It was absolutely spectacular. Military Mondays, 20% off all day military for all of you guys that served and women, our great country. You get 20% off all day long. Don't forget also the happy hours, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 items, $6. Try the fried pickles, northeasttutors.com. That's northeasttutors.com. And when you roll in, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.
Any professional sports coach will tell you there's no substitution for preparation. At Malamut & Associates, that is a tenet by which we live. We prepare from day one for victory. Anything less is not acceptable.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Lamar Jackson was spectacular last night. How much dysfunction do you think now is hurting Jalen Hurts' development? Same shit you guys did to Wentz. Team started unraveling. You lost coordinators. You lost when you lost Frank Reich. It was kind of like what's happened here with Shane Steichen. When Shane Steichen left, Wentz went to shit. You lost Shane. All of a sudden now, Jalen doesn't look the same. Isn't it funny how ironic things work out? I mean, right? Now, Jalen's got more metal than Wentz, and that became apparent. You got to have metal to work in that organization because there's a lot of voices that you have to answer to. You ain't answering to a head coach. You're answering. Howie's the main guy in that building. He is the head shit in charge. There is no getting around that. Okay? By the way, you don't win tonight if he don't play. I'll take a 50% Jalen Hurts over 100% Marcus Mariota tonight, and that should be good enough to win. We'll be dubbing this thing the flu game. The Hurts flu game. Sky is falling. Self-inflicted. You fire a D coordinator 10-3 after 2 bad games. Oh, wait, it's been all year. Howie, you put the people in charge. You're the one that changed half the coaching staff. Get this. Listen to what Roseman did this year defensively. He lost 5 of his top tacklers. He changed out half the coaching staff, almost the entire defensive staff outside of the D lineman, Tracy Rocker coach. Almost everybody else has been changed out into first-year roles. You did not retool the team. You hired a suspect and you didn't believe in coordinator, and you blame him. Jesus criminy, man. How about you? How about Howie Roseman do a press conference and take accountability for the things that he's not done right? The miscalculation of Dean. The miscalculation of talent or lack thereof that he didn't put on the team. When's his press conference? Why is he sending out all of his scapegoats? And then the sword swallower, Nick Serianni, has to land on all this. Turn him into a bullshit artist. Nick probably didn't even want to do it. And by the way, for Mike Silsky to go like this, that Nick will fight back, you had a whole week of seeing a coach exposed. One day, early on a Tuesday, he loves his coordinators. Then on a Sunday, he fires one of them. And now tonight, you humiliate him. That's fighting for your coaches? In what world? What world is that? Huss, when you don't, hey, Nick, are you going to have any changes? Are you going to have any changes going forward? No. We're very comfortable with who we are. All right there is all you needed to know about the lies. And again, I'm not upset with the move. I'm upset how you got there. And the message you send. And the self-inflicted wounds that you put on your team. And get this. It's bad enough you've had a 2-game losing streak. And the way you got your ass kicked. But it's another thing then to make the players believe in you less. Doug Peterson, 85%. Howie Roseman, 15%. And that number could move after tonight. They didn't want another Andy Reid in the building. Coach having too much say. They wanted the Joe Banners of the world, and they didn't want any of that. They don't want coaches with the power in the room. They want the GM with the power in the room. Because the analytics department. Why don't you call one of them guys out? What kind of information? Get this. You understand that Howie blames, and the analytics people blame the coaches for the failures of the player. I heard, we're going to have Tone on in a couple minutes. I heard everyone, well, the side wasn't putting guys in position. Those guys, I don't care if you lined them up in proper positions, put them in a proper technique, told them to play. They're not going to make the play. You could have tipped off the snap count. And, hey, somebody was pointing out that Kittle play. And I went like this. That's not an alignment issue. That's a knowledge issue. He didn't recognize it. That's why he was cut. That's why they cut him. What, you don't think the analytics and the coaches showed him that play on block and release on Kittle and how they like to do that stuff? You don't think they showed him that? He didn't retain it. Hey, I could draw up how to do a brain surgery, but would you want me, as your surgeon? These guys are hamburger that you're asking to cover George Kittle. You're asking Nicholas Morrow or Christian Ellis to cover those guys like they're Seth Joyner. Okay. Boy, you must have really a lot of faith in Howie, the way you know what Howie does? Howie's a guy that goes through the garbage cans at a Wawa, and he's getting the bottles out because he's collecting as many bottles as he can. He's trying to put as many bottles together to try to find players so that he can pay for them. And that's how we put the team together on defense, through trash cans. And then you're blaming the coordinator. And you're going to put him in the booth tonight. Hey, wait a minute now. Tell me, hey, let me connect the dots here. This sounds like the Biden administration. Hang on for a second. So Desai doesn't have play calling duties, but he's still the defensive coordinator. The play calling duties have been handed over to Matt Patricia, who doesn't have the title as play caller, but has now been thrust into calling tonight's critical game to kind of put the Cowboys away as a defensive coordinator. He's been a consultant to Nick the whole time, but he's not getting the role of coordinator, and Desai is going to be put upstairs in the broom closet or in the booth. Signed, Eagles. Quite a job there, dog. Quite a job there. Woo! Warren, 124.98. Hey, remember this though, dude. Okay? How we went for the ride in 17. It had nothing to do with that Super Bowl. Went for the ride. When he had a chance to win the Super Bowl, he hired inferior coaches 10 months ago. Said, I'm hiring quality people. And then this year he hired even less than quality. He hired yes men so he could tell them what to do. There's no coincidence to that. Howie Roseman will never hire a coordinator or a coach. You know, I think they put Patricia in there by desperation because there's nobody else in the building. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Unless it's the Eagles secondary. Woo! I'm surprised Howie Roseman doesn't have his name on every single championship ring, including like Nick Foles's. It's just got Howie's name, Roseman. You know, where it says the player's name, Roseman. Yeah. But seriously, I'm surprised he doesn't have his name on every ring that's ever been made. I did it. Doug didn't do it. I did it. Nate Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld. We wanted to take a look at what he was going to do. The worst part is that the NFL is wide open. And if they made any effort to solidify this defense, this team could go far. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you have to have a man that's in charge of the whole thing. That's a coach, not your analytics department. Those guys never take any criticism. They never get fired. They're never questioned. And anytime they're questioned, Howie shuts you down. Or you'll have some theatrical play that was put out there like last week. Rich Eisen show. Then they do all the PR stuff with the filming of like up downs with Hurts, the practicing. Then they fired the DC on Sunday. Come on, man. Oh, and the beautiful one is this backstory of Slay. So what I don't get is, again, I'm sure I'm making this up. Now, this is, like I said, before I bring Tone on, this is a theory here. It's coincidence, right? That Patricia's the play caller tonight and Slay's not playing. And Slay fired him in Detroit and traded him because he got rid of him. It's just coincidence. Or Slay doesn't want to play for him. He goes under emergency arthroscopic surgery. I've had arthroscopic surgery. 3 days later, I played. I mean, Hugh Theory could have played tonight. Probably nothing. Because, everything's above board there. Man, how about this, man? I tell you this. I heard a lot of people crocheting a rug today. Everybody was trying to put, a good spin on everything. Hey, do you like my rug? I'm going to put this under the tree. That's not what you get here, juniors. I thought, you know what? Let's bring Tone in here. I thought Tone was going to have an easy Sunday, too. You were thinking you were going to have an easy Sunday, didn't you?
Man, welcome to the Real Housewives of Eagles County. This is what this is, man. This is a sideshow. This is a sideshow, man.
So tell me, man. Tell me what your takeaways are from the last 24 hours,
right? Yeah. I'll put it to you this way, man. And you kind of said it earlier, but I said it on Sports Take. I don't have a problem with them making a move. I don't have a problem with you looking at everything and saying, you know what, this guy is not living up to our expectations, and then you cut the cord. I have no problem with the move. My problem is how you did business, how you handled things from the very beginning. His hiring was a farce. It was a farce. You didn't have no faith in that man in the first place, and then you hedge your bet bringing in Matt Patricia. When they hired him, I was like, that looks shady to me. But nonetheless, you bring him in, right? And here's the thing: when your defense is ranked at the bottom, not in the middle, not in the top 15 or top 20, when your defense is ranked at the bottom of every meaningful stat category, to me, that goes far beyond personnel. That somebody's responsible for that thing. Somebody is. And also, I look at it from this perspective as well. We saw games this year where this defense looked like something. Knowing the limitations, we saw games where they looked like something. The Dolphins game, you held them to 17 points.
Early.
The Chiefs game, you held them to 17 points. That's the most recent one. That's their most recent good defensive performance. You held them to 17 points, right? The Rams game, you had a half where you shut them down, and what else we got? The Dallas game, you held them to 23 points, even though there was some dysfunction there. You held them to 23 points. The Tampa Bay game, you held them to 11 points. So there have been games where this defense, this personnel that we've seen has played well. But then these past 3 games, it's like they fell off a cliff. So for me, again, I'm not mad that you made the move. They clearly feel as though Desai is not maximizing this group of people. And
you mean Howie's guys?
Right. They clearly feel Sean Desai is not maximizing these guys Howie brought in. And there's been games where we've seen them play well. But now it's like all of a sudden Sean Desai, everything's his fault. It just looks messy to me. It looks messy. It's ugly. I think the problem goes far beyond Sean Desai, but it definitely starts there. And
what about
I just
the
feel
whole
like
theater week of the whole thing to set it up?
it's been messy.
The whole thing was a media parading of setting Sunday up so that they could get to that point, making you believe that Nick is still in charge when you didn't have. I mean, how about this one too, Tone? It's more important for the Philadelphia Eagle PR department and organization to have the national media have a better view of you than it is for your local guys who cover you every day and put their heart and soul into it. They completely control them because get this, Tone, I'm watching Sunday. I'm like, oh, this will be easy. Out of nowhere. And I text Jay Glazer. We've had him on. Out of nowhere. Hey, play calling duties has just been taken away from Sean Desai. And Matt Patricia is going to be elevated to that role. And I was like, I had to go back and play it back. I was like, what?
Listen, I
almost shit a brick when that happened.
Yo, listen, let me tell you this. I was having an easy Sunday, right? I was in the bathroom. I was shaving my head. I was feeling good, playing some music. And you know how it goes. And all of a sudden, I see Sean Desai has been relieved of his duties. Matt Patricia's taking over. I'm like, hold on, wait, has he been fired? So I'm looking for the word fired. I don't see fired anywhere. I'm like, wait, so he's still in the building? This is a toxic environment. Just fire him. Here's again, you made the move. It is what it is. Just wash your hands clean of it. Wash your hands clean. But they don't want to, for some reason, why? Listen, you know what's gonna make it even messier?
Because it's a reflection of
This is where it gets even worse. This is where it gets even more disgusting. Now, here's the funny part about it. Sean Desai, since he's technically still the DC, who's going to talk on the Wednesday press conferences? Matt Patricia or Sean?
No one.
Who's going to talk?
No one.
Here's the thing.
They're not going to grade anybody out.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, right? Let's just say Sean Desai has to talk, right? Let's just go with that for a second. You mean to tell me you're going to have that man answer for a defense that he no longer has control of?
Way. That's humiliating.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's humiliating.
Exactly.
They would have to do, the only thing they could do is both, and they won't do both.
Of course they won't.
So they'll have that because they'll have Patricia answer.
But guess what? Let's follow that. If Patricia answers, why the hell is Desai in this building?
Because they don't have conviction.
That's my issue. That's my only issue. If you're going to fire him, hey, he wasn't producing, I'll live with it. But you still got him in the building. Why keep him here? What are you doing?
That's admitting to failure.
If I was on the side, I would have just said, I resign. I would just leave. I would say I resign. Just fire him.
Tone, get this. All the things you're saying about the move is, but why bring the drama to your room?
Why?
For an organization that doesn't like drama.
Clearly they do. This week
do. Oh, no. There's clearly, the Howie.
This
is Howie vision.
It's theater. It's theater, man. And look, again, I want to make it clear, Eagles fans, I have no problem with the move. I have a problem with how they're handling business.
Okay, so let me ask you this, though. So week 15, you had the season has gone poorly defensively. You beat Seattle tonight. You end up 14-3. Doesn't it make more sense to get to the bye or to the last game of the season to make that decision that you're going to go with a different play caller than to come out on a Monday eve, the eve before the game? Why not do it on Tuesday of last week, players' day off?
Exactly.
Why wait to the eve of a game? Makes me believe that they made this decision on Wednesday.
Which begs the question, when did they make this decision truthfully?
Wednesday.
Because
Nick came out Tuesday and everything was hunky-dory.
Right. And Desai spoke on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So did they make the decision after that? See, I don't like that.
Owner and general manager met. Then they called Nick in. Then the next day they had that padded practice. Jalen's doing up downs and shit. The Friday deal. Saturday, they were preparing. Sunday, they have a come to Jesus conversation and say you're fired. Hey, I'll tell you this. I think Desai found out over the weekend.
I would have made the decision on Monday. I would have as soon as the game was look, I would have made the decision on the plane. Like get in front of it, put it out there. It is what it is. And then by the time game day comes, It's already in the wind because
Yeah,
now
but they had to set it up. It's not to make Nick look bad. That's why they didn't do it early in the week, because they didn't. Remember what I told you?
But how does that
Remember Friday, you and I were going back and forth on it, and I kept going like this to you about the video, all this shit, and all these fucking reporters that were. It's not their video. Even better, okay? It looks even better when it's not their video. It's the access they gave to that. Like you said, these guys do football fumble drills every day. Well, that was an emphasis on making Jalen accountable on fumble. Then you're seeing padded practice. I mean, it was like really weird. And
but how does firing, and look, we're at this point we're trying to just figure this thing out, right? How does firing decide yesterday make Nick look better? It makes him look worse because he came out and said, "That's my guy." They should have fired him before that. You feel me?
no conviction.
It just looks bad. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Doug, he came out and said, "Hey, Mike Groh, he's going to be here. He's my guy." And then 2 days later, Mike Groh is fired, and he has to answer for that.
That was the end of Doug.
They let that man go out there and embarrass himself.
That was the end of Doug. That's when it began. And by the way, don't you think that it's almost Jesus? This is so eerily similar to after the 17 Super Bowl, how they just got in their way and the team deteriorated to a 4-11-1 team. I mean, it just too many voices in the building and not enough conviction by a main guy making one. Like I said about the movie, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Ford versus Ferrari, where the guy comes in there, Carroll Shelby, he goes in there, and, this red folder goes through like 19 floors and 1,000 hands. Then it gets up to Henry Ford III for him to look at it after all these hands have been through it. Dude, that's kind of the way the Eagles run their organization.
Yeah,
I mean, so many people have opinions on how things should be run instead of having one guy make the final call on it. Yeah. And the one guy that does make the final call is not a football guy.
Yeah, and then, to take it a step further, right? If you want to just like go backwards, you clearly wasn't convinced in your hire of this man, right? You clearly
hired a babysitter right after it.
Exactly. And then you had a guy in the building, in Denard Wilson.
Yeah, two.
Yeah, two guys in the building.
And Fangio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we know, to your point about Fangio, like that thing kind of imploded on itself, right?
I wonder why.
So
maybe he had a different opinion on how the defense should be run too.
Right.
And when that
because I asked John,
went up, he went, "I'm not part of that."
Listen, I asked John directly yesterday because with the moment this thing came across the table, I hit John up and I said, "Look, we got to talk now. Football 24/7. We got to talk now." Got John on. We was on for about 40 minutes, and I asked him. I said, "Look, they had Denard Wilson in the building. Why didn't he get the role? Like he was right there. They elevated Brian Johnson. He was in the building." He said, "Well, look, if you ask me," and I'm paraphrasing here, he said, "If you ask me, Denard Wilson, he didn't want to play ball the way Sean Desai would have played ball. Denard Wilson had a different vision for the defense. I'm not saying he was going to change it completely, but he wanted to add in a few more wrinkles than just what they were already doing."
I mean, a couple press coverages might be like something that would be against them.
He wanted to throw in some tendency busters, right? You know what I mean?
Sure, that'd be a first.
Some trim breakers. Nah, Howie and them didn't like that. He didn't ace the interview. But Sean Desai, he told him exactly what they wanted to hear. And he gets the job. And lo and behold, he gets demoted. Matt Patricia's in. This is a mess.
And no, what you always got to remember, hey, I'm a big analytics guy. I believe in the analytics department. I think they're as important to a point as much as the coaching staff, because this is where we get many of our information. That's what they want to hear.
Yep.
That's how you get the job here. Hey, what about my relationship now with Darius Slay?
That's fascinating. When you told me about that, I almost couldn't believe it. Then you showed me the text, and I was like, wow.
So listen to this.
Because this isn't the first time you and him have had words.
No. Because I called him an asshole, I think Friday. And he had blocked me the whole time. All of a sudden, so I'm blocked, and he goes, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you." So he's DMing me, and I go, "Okay." He goes, "I want you to know that, quite frankly, they took a snippet of what I said. The entire show was about my team. And they took a snippet of it, and it made it seem, I said, well, it's a pretty shitty comment. Would you not agree? He goes, yeah, without context. And I said, fair. I go, because, Tone, how many people have taken snippets of what I've said in my career over the years and made it seem like a different narrative?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to be respectful of that because it's happened to me. And so we had a fun conversation. I mean, look, I'm going to show you this, man.
Yeah, and look, in all fairness, right? Again, to be fair, I called them out about the comment as well. I took the bait on the comment, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that in any way. You know what I'm saying? Did I watch the whole episode?
Well, I still don't.
Yeah, no, I still don't. I still don't like the comment. For disclosure, I didn't watch the whole episode, because I didn't have time. But the clip came, the clip caught fire. I saw the clip, and I was like, I didn't like that. So I actually went against my better nature to read into context of certain things instead of just jumping on the bait. But yet, let alone I did that, but still, I didn't like it. I still don't like the comment in and of itself. It just doesn't sound good to me.
So this is how much we had a conversation of here. So he sends this to me. This is on Friday, and we, here, look here, man. I know we don't like each other, but I'm the biggest team first guy on the team. Everyone knows that about me. Never been a me guy. I'm always willing to help the next man up. I heard you say I'm not. I'm constantly coaching these kids because people never pulled the entire clip, only parts of it. The podcast that pays me always wants me to give a detail on how a player feels so fans can live through the player's eyes. Because I'm far from an asshole. I'm a humble, chilled dude that loves his job. Then we went on.
Look, I respect
him coming in.
No, I respect anybody who's willing to go to the horse's mouth and say, look, man, let's have a conversation. Because
no.
And here's the thing, right? Like, I don't think Darius Slay is a bad dude at all.
No,
but
it's not personal.
Yeah, but I feel like he put his foot in his mouth in that comment.
He did.
And I didn't like it. And I stand on that part of it.
I'm with you. I'm not wavering off of my take on that. He took the post down because he tweeted out first the comment that our guy put out. And then he took it, and then he took a snippet because I said this, and I did exactly what you said. If you go back and look at his timeline, I said this. Fair enough. Appreciate you, and after talking with you, I hope this is before I found out he was going to go into surgery.
Right.
And so
because that came out on Saturday, right? The surgery came out Saturday?
That was Friday we were talking.
Okay.
So, he probably didn't want to put that out because you're not supposed to divulge anything to the public about injuries because of the IR, and that goes against NFLPA and NFL rules. You're not supposed to be talking to media members about surgeries because it said out. No one knew in the media. There's another thing. Nobody knew, and I didn't know. He didn't tell me he was going under the knife. And again, arthroscopic surgery, dude, I had an arthroscopic surgery after a Cardinal game on a Sunday, on a Monday. I played that following Sunday. So this is not catastrophic knee injuries. It's a clean. You may have some cartilage in there. You're going to be able to clean it. If the swelling goes down. That kind of what it is. If the swelling goes down, you can play that Sunday. If not, so he could probably maybe not have played because it's a Saturday. He's still probably on crutches, but he'll be able to play next week if he gets out there, if the swelling goes down. But for him to answer me and for him to and then he says he's going to try to pop on this week. I'm probably going to see what happens tonight. Hopefully they win. If he wins, I think he'll come on. But no, man, I gave him kudos for coming on and wanting to set the record straight with me. And I told him.
And that's what grown men do. Grown men have conversations, right? There are some who would prefer the entire antagonization and back and forth,
that's not what I don't believe in that.
And that's just not how things go. Grown men have conversations. And
that's not how, if a man has a problem with something I say and he confronts me with it, I don't hide from it. Okay.
You know how many people in this game do that?
Oh yeah, of course.
You know how many people in this game?
They don't have a backbone.
You know how many people in this game, they have a conversation with somebody, they clear the air, and then still double down. It's like, come on, man. That's not what this is. It wasn't a cool comment, right? and he had a conversation. Y'all had a conversation, and it was what it was. It doesn't even have to go beyond that. You know what I mean? It's, what happened. People put their foot in their mouth all the time. That's not
what
it.
I love about, like, Keon goes, if I'm Slay, I'm not giving Sileo the time of day. Well, he did. He always does. Actually, he's done that the last 2 years. So he has given me the time of day. And by the way, he's one of 18 Eagle guys that do give me the time of day and tell me if I'm right or wrong on certain things. I don't give their names out. There's certain guys. I know many people in that organization. I know people that have been Miami Hurricanes in that organization. So, that doesn't mean because people talk to me that I'm going to say anything about what they say, but Slay said it was okay. So we had a conversation, and I don't know, man. Tone, did it change my perspective on him? I think you have to have an arrogance to be a corner. Like, you have to be completely arrogant that you can be beat.
It's two positions on the field where you have to have this unwavering wide out and corner. You have to. And again, prior to that comment he had, I never felt like Slay was a bad teammate, right? It never felt like he was that dude. But when I saw it, I was like, damn, Slay, like, y'all losing and you saying stuff like that, it don't sound right to me. You know what I'm saying? I've always felt like Slay was a good dude. Always have. He does go out his way to help young guys. He does go out his way.
Has he been a great Eagle?
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, me too.
I really think he has. I just didn't like that comment.
Yeah,
and then when you think about what happened last year after the Cowboys game, when Josh Joe blew a coverage, it kind of sounded bad then too. So when you think about those two situations, it didn't look good. It didn't sound good. But again, I've never felt like Darius Slay was a bad dude. He's a family guy, helps young guys. You know what I mean? If you ask about him around the league, everybody around the league loved Darius Slay. You know what I'm saying? So
I think these people have me wrong here. Like Cody, look at Sills and Slay making up. I'm not making up to anybody. I don't give a shit about having one's friendship. I care about having one's respect. Okay, that to me is about. I have an opinion, and sometimes
you shouldn't even have the answer for that. You shouldn't even have the answer for that.
Hey, Barkley and Jordan aren't friends because Barkley was critical of the way Jordan was as an executive. Jordan didn't like it. It wrecked the relationship. So be it. This is what I do. I'm not going to compromise now. Look, there's a few times I have, and my daughter's called me on it because of the hurricane thing. Okay, and guys I grew up with when I was 19 years old, answering about Michael Irvin or Ray Lewis and them guys. I'm like, she goes, "Oh, Dad, I see you rip these guys, but you don't kill those guys." And I'm like, okay, that's enough of that. And so, okay, I am on that. So I get it. But what do you make of him not playing tonight and Patricia's first night play calling?
It's funny. Like, I was joking behind the scenes that, it's not a coincidence. It can't be a coincidence. That's the fun part of the conversation. But if I'm being genuine with myself, I feel like I don't think he lined it up for that. I don't think so. If I'm being honest with myself, I don't think so.
So
it's
just
what's
a guy who traded him. They had to ask Slay if it was cool at the beginning of the year that they hired him as a consultant, and all of a sudden they make the move.
I hear you, man. You're not like, listen.
Yeah, you're right. It's coincidence.
Listen, what you're saying. If I had the tinfoil on my head, I'd be with you. You know what I mean? It's not off. It's not off, but at the same time, I don't want to put that on him. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, because again, it's funny though. It's funny as hell, and I think it should be talked about. But I don't want to put that on him.
I tweeted something out. I want to show you something here on on how you go about winning football games, and I tweeted this out earlier. And after watching the Cowboy game last night, I want to show you this, man. And what I loved about Joe Brady last night was, like Jimmy Johnson said, there's coordinators that want to win, and then there's coordinators who want to put enormous numbers up. Mm-hmm. And get this. So, I tweeted this out here a couple minutes ago before the show started. And here, note to Eagle coaches. The Buffalo Bills completed 7 passes with a pass-happy offense and ran the ball 49 times Sunday and crushed the Cowboys 31-10. In the Eagles' 2 games combined versus the Cowboys, the Eagles ran the ball a total of 56 times, only 7 more times in 2 games than what Buffalo did versus the worst defense in the NFL, one of the worst run defenses. And you saw last night how soft the run defense is. And because, I got to tell you what Dan Quinn has done a really fabulous job of. The Achilles heel of that team is still the run defense. And it's been that way for 3 years. It was worse under Mike Nolan. So think about that. In 2 games against the Cowboys, they only ran the ball 56 total times. And the Bills ran the ball almost 50 times last night.
And they did it in only 65 plays. 65 plays. That's insane.
15 passes they had last night.
Only 7 completions. When I saw those numbers, I'm like, get the hell out of here. And
that's got to be a directive from the owner.
To me, I'm so glad you brought this up, because to me, that's a clear indictment on Nick Serianni and Brian Johnson and whoever's pulling the strings on offense. That's a clear indictment. The film told you run the ball, but the analytics told you to pass the ball. So come on now. Do you trust what your eyes tell you, or do you trust what some nerds in a dark room tell you?
And
let's be honest.
In Philly? Wait a minute. Do you want me to answer it Philly way, or do you want me to answer it smart?
I mean, it was rhetorical, but go ahead.
Okay. First, I'll answer it Philly way.
Right.
I'm gonna put a game plan together on what the guys give me upstairs. I'm not fighting that. Now, as a coach, I'm gonna go like this. My eyes tell me Seattle going into tonight's game. Once again, they're one of the worst run defensive football teams in the league. Tonight, Tone, I don't want a balanced attack. I want to run the ball 50 times tonight.
I'm so with you.
I don't want to. Hey, with all the chaos that's gone on over the weekend, you need a win in many ways.
I like
you need a win, a convincing win, and then get this. Then you can get into the back end of your schedule and wait and see what San Francisco. The Cowboys are dropping that Dolphin game. Their pride has been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen. They're finished. You don't have to worry about them. They're going to sit in the 5-hole. The problem with you is if you lose tonight, guess who can jump into that 2 spot?
Easily.
Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that means you'd have to go on the road, okay? Because you'd be you wouldn't have to go on the road. You'd be in a 3-hole, okay?
They actually might fall. It's a stronger possibility they fall to the 5-hole because
no, 5 is Dallas.
I know, but hear me out, right?
Oh, Dallas could lose more.
The main reason, well, that's assuming Dallas. I'm assuming Dallas wins, but I don't think they will. But I guess my point is this, right? I like my football how Malcolm X likes his civil rights, by any means necessary. And I'm going to win a game by any means necessary. I'm going to do exactly what I need to do to win a game. I don't care about this guy's stats. I don't care about how it looks. What's required today? What's required in this matchup? Every football game, you played the game. And you tell me if I'm off here. Games take on a personality. They have a complexion to them. Like every game is not the same.
Last night.
Like what you do, like what you guys did against Penn State. Exactly. What you guys did against Penn State, you wouldn't do against Notre Dame.
No.
You follow what I'm saying? So based off that, why would I just deploy the same game plan because the analytics tell me to, instead of going on what the film tells me? The film tells me they are weak up front in terms of the running game. They're soft, and I'm going to pound them in submission. But no, Philadelphia Eagles didn't want to do that. So again, I'm praying, I'm hoping, and I know hope is not a strategy. We talk about that all the time. But I'm hoping that because Jalen Hurts is sick, I think he's going to play, by the way. Because he's sick.
Well, they ain't flying him to Seattle just to put him in a hotel.
Exactly. I think they should really lean on their running game today. And I mean traditionally, because if in my opinion, it would be malpractice to throw Jalen Hurts out there and then run him on a bunch of QB draws, knowing he's hobbling the way he is. You got to get those running backs involved tonight. This is the game. The Seahawks, they're weak up
Why don't
front.
you activate Penny? Let Penny go back with an
That's what I'm
attitude against
saying.
Seattle.
I don't understand. I don't understand. And look, no one, me and you are not saying
Penny got cut or basically dealt out of the building in Seattle.
Right.
Let him go back and eat some revenge.
Exactly. And guess what? You and I are not saying Penny is the answer all of a sudden.
No.
But what we're saying is you have him on the damn roster. Use him. Find out what he is at this point. There's no need to keep pussyfooting around.
And this is when you need him with Hurts being ill.
You need that physicality up front. You need it, and he can provide you that.
How do you see that game tonight?
I have the Eagles winning 28-23. I think this is gonna be one of those games where it's close for the first 3 quarters, and then I think the Philadelphia Eagles score a touchdown to make it 28-23, and then the Seahawks are going to try to kick an onside kick to try to get the possession back, but they don't get it, and then the game ends right there. So I think this is one of those games where the Eagles win 28-23.
Let's do this. Now let's go on the other end. What if they get upset tonight?
It's possible.
Is Brian Johnson next?
I felt like he should.
I think the wrong coordinator got fired, but hey.
I feel like he should have had eyes on him more than anybody, but that's just me. It's funny
think
you asked
Jalen had
that.
any influence in that?
Well, keeping Brian?
Yeah.
That's a good pull. It's possible, but to your point, right? I've been asking because we spoke to Mark Sealski and those guys today, and I kept asking them. I said, what does the Sean Desai demotion due to Nick Serianni? What message does it send to the coaching staff, right?
None.
And for me at least, and I asked John this too, for me at least, it just shows that, once again, no one on this staff is as safe as they think they are.
Right.
And
but they've known that. See, here again, remember, Tone, the players in the building know the truth. So nothing's going to surprise them. Now, Desai not having the play calling duties, probably when they were told earlier in the week or later in the week that was going to go down that way, they probably kept it away from the players because of social media being the way it is, and because Sileo has a big mouth, and some of these other guys on the defense may have leaked that shit out.
And I mean, Josh Sweat even said after that Dallas game, they, I think in his press conference or whatever, they asked him something about the defense and what they were doing. He said, look, man, it's a lot of guys out here just freelancing, just not really, doing things the way it's supposed to be done. So clearly a lot of these guys weren't really bought into what Sean Desai was asking them over the past few weeks, clearly. And, from what I'm hearing, these players are working to change.
What I think. Again, they're not buying. It's not Desai, dude. It's the game plan that's got Desai's name on it.
Yes, because Desai is only calling the defense that he's instructed to call.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, this is not his scheme.
Because Gannon's doing something different in Arizona, and Jim Schwartz is doing something different in
This
Cleveland.
is not his scheme.
Right.
So he's being called out on something that is not maybe something he even believes in.
So
and this is why Wilson is in Baltimore.
So you're saying he's being scapegoated?
Of course he is, because again, the game plan, like Frank says, has got the analytics department, has got the coaching staff, has got the position coaches, has got Howie's name and everyone all in it. But the head coordinator's name is on it. So when you go like this and you get your game plan and you're a player, the players know the pecking order and the chain of command and how this thing was put together. They're not surprised that the thing looks chaotic when they're going through it, when they're going like this. Why would we run a safety blitz on 3rd and 10 on the plus 28 here when we watched on film? They run that play maybe 8 times when they have their backs against the wall when they're down. And so players start questioning situational play calling. They don't question the game plan. They question the situational play calling on potentially what schemes you're going to run when it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. Alignment issues. Why would you have me on the short side play 10 yards off the ball, shit like that. Instead of pressing up and using the sideline, why wouldn't you use the advantage you have of the sideline? That's the stuff that players question. You see, questioning Sean Desai, shit, man. Sean Desai's only got it. Why would a defensive tackle question Sean Desai when he's got no contact with him whatsoever? He only talks to Tracy Rocker. Do you know the only time I ever talked to a D coordinator, or the only time you really ever talk to a D coordinator, is in defensive meetings, defensive team meetings. And you break down and you're talking to your position coach almost the entire week. And then you get out to practice. Coordinator will be out there. It'll be defensive drills. He'll put you on a defense. And then the defensive line coach will come to you and he'll be coaching you. Butch Davis used to come to me. Dave would call the plays. Most of the interaction you have is with your position coach. The linebackers don't talk to Sean Desai, but maybe twice a week. So when people go, he's not putting me in positions to win, the whole game plan. That's not how it works. Sean doesn't go down to the D lineman and go, hey, you need to be in a 3 technique or a 2 technique here. Hey, linebacker, you need to be a little bit wider.
That's what the position goes. That's what the position coaches are for.
That's right.
Okay.
But then the position coaches now get their intel also from these analytic guys. Then the DB coaches getting their information from the analytics guys. What they do is they funnel it down to a game plan. You get your game plan on Wednesday. You walk into a meeting on Wednesday. You've got your playbook and you've got your game plan. You're handed it. And then you open it up. First thing you see is tendencies and trends, what they've done. You'll have a trend book. You'll see what they've done the last 3 weeks. You'll see what they've done the last 3 games against you. You'll see what they have done against common opponent. And you'll go through and you'll see percentages on the right of what this guy likes to do on 3rd and 7, 2nd and 4, short side of the field, +20, goal line, red zone. And you'll go down that list and you'll funnel it down to the 20 favorite plays that they like to do. And you'll see what those first 20 plays are. That's like, what was the game that their hair was on fire against San Francisco right out of the gate? They looked at what Kyle Shanahan likes to do, immediately spreading you out right away. Mm-hmm. Well, after that whole 8-10 went away, it was over because they had no adjustments to it.
They missed their opportunity. They had an opportunity to go up 14-0 in that game.
Correct. And they were pressuring Purdy. I thought they rattled them.
And if they do that, that changes the complete dynamic of that game. Not 6-0, 14-0 changes everything. So when you go out there and you shoot your load like that and you don't put points up, you've kind of tipped your hand to the opposing team. And now
it's over.
When
14, it was 6, it was over.
Yep. Me too. The moment I saw that, I was like, it's over.
What do I make a Ringo starting tonight?
Barbecue chicken.
What do I make a Ringo starting against DK Metcalf?
Barbecue chicken. Barbecue
Boy,
chicken.
I'll tell you, not high. I'm not thinking that's going to be a good result there, my friend.
That's barbecue chicken, man.
And someone's going to go like this, but it's Tyler Lockett. Dude, I don't give a shit who it is.
Who says, whoever talks like that about Tyler Lockett, they smoking crack. Tyler Lockett is legit. He's one of the most reliable, one of the most technically sound wide receivers in the NFL. They must not know. Tyler Lockett, listen, that combination when it was Doug Baldwin, Tyler, say it again?
That rookie they have is good.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Listen, that combination, I don't know if you remember this. Remember that combination with Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett? They were unguardable. They were damn near indefensible. Tyler Lockett is legit. So please don't sleep on Tyler Lockett. Please.
How about this, too?
He's the last person you sleep on.
I would say this to you, man. I thought Drew Lock played pretty damn well against San Francisco last week. I think Drew Lock played better against San Francisco with his football team than the Eagles played against the 49ers last week. I'll tell you that. I mean,
yeah.
He's a backup Hey, Tone, you could make that guy look like Drew Bledsoe if you're playing 10 yards off the ball and you're playing pitch and catch. And if you've got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and you're playing the same scheme and you're not pressing and you're not doing all those things, I don't care who the quarterback is. You're still going to move the sticks.
Exactly.
Those are quality. They have the advantage on the numbers.
I said this. I said, look, as much as you can criticize the Seahawks all you want, if this Eagles defense ain't getting stops, what difference do it make? What difference do it make? You can make a high school team look good if you ain't stopping the ball.
I think Pete wants this thing to be ugly tonight.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Actually, you know what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to come out running the ball
Oh,
religiously.
yes.
He's going to come out and try to beat them up at the line of scrimmage. He's going to touch their metal early.
And their pride.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, the organization, if I'm Pete Carroll, first thing I do, I'm going to try to run and bring pressure on Jalen Hurts as much as I can if he's ill the way he is. I'm going to do everything I can to work him, run him. I'm going to make him sit in the pocket. I'm going to bring pressure on him. I'll tell you something, dude. He knows what he's doing, Pete Carroll. Does he have the talent that's better than what the Eagles have on offense? Absolutely not. But I'll tell you one thing. I think that kid Witherspoon's playing tonight.
I think he is. Yep, he is.
He's playing. He's a pretty damn good ball player.
Yeah, and so is Tyreek Woolen. The other corner they drafted a couple years ago, Woolen. He's really good. He's really good.
I mean, I don't think Jamal Adams is playing tonight.
I don't know, but Jamal Adams is
I know, man. He's never been the guy.
He's a shell of himself.
I know. You know what, man? He had one good year up in Seattle.
He can't cover.
He can't, man. I mean, he can barely hit.
Not anymore.
He makes like $18 million.
They gave him all that money.
Yeah,
and he's barely giving them 50% of a season.
I think they've even had him like a healthy scratch one game this year. I mean, he has not helped them.
He's not what he used to be. Like, you pay that much money for a box safety.
And you gave all those draft choices away. You gave 3 ones, I think, away for him.
They're fortunate to be where they are.
Oh my God. The only reason and get this, it's because they dumped Wilson.
That was the re-up.
Got something out of Geno.
That was the re-up right there. They flipped Wilson and got a bunch of picks back. That was the re-up right there.
How many rushing attempts do you think they have tonight, the Eagles?
Do I think they'll have, or I want them to?
How much do you think? Not what you want.
Okay, all right, okay. Because it's a difference.
Completely. Hey, common sense and non-common sense are two conversations you have when you're talking about Eagle approach.
Mm-hmm. So, to your question, how many rushing attempts will they have tonight? Based off the circumstances that I laid out, I think they have 33 attempts. 33 attempts. And I still don't think that's enough. I think they have 33 attempts.
You think so? The over/under for you is 33 attempts tonight.
The over/under for me was 30, but I think they'll have 33. So I'm taking the over.
I think they got to run the ball over 35, close to 40 times tonight.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I mean, why would you not? You know what? Here, imagine the Bills rushing for 170 yards against the Cowboys and our coaches picking their belly button. Hey, I'm going to say it one more time, man. They threw 15 passes. They only had 7 completions.
Oh, my God. Oh, look at this guy. Hold on. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Nobody said Ringo stinks. He's going against one of the best receivers in the league.
Listen,
get the tone. So wait a minute here. So Big Marshall took out of context that you think that Ringo stinks because he's going against DK Metcalf. Hey, Big Marshall, against DK Metcalf, Ringo as a rookie, he stinks.
Yes. Yes. Like, come on, man.
He's not going against DK Metcalf. He's learning in a young player.
What? Yo, Keely Ringo against DK Metcalf when Ringo has not been getting any snaps after what I saw against Dallas in this situation. Ringo is going to get cooked tonight.
What did he do against Bland?
Oh, you mean what did Ringo do against Metcalf?
What did Metcalf do against Bland?
Metcalf made Bland look bland. You feel me?
He made him look stupid.
So again, this isn't even about Ringo. This isn't even about him. And that's the emotion.
The lack of personnel.
And that's the emotion of the fans talk. Because I'm a fan. And when they drafted Ringo, I was high on him. But I also knew his limitations. I knew Ringo was stiff in the hips. I knew he needed time to develop. But putting him in this situation is tough. It's a hard situation to put him in. Why are we trying to pretend like he's going to go in there and just DK Metcalf?
He tried to put Nakobe Dean in that same position.
Wake up. This is a
hard tonight. Analytics.
This is a hard situation to be in. Like, I don't think, like, for DK Metcalf is the real deal. Like, come on. Why are we doing this?
Hey, let me ask you this now about Howie.
Yo. Did y'all see him last week? Did they watch Ringo last week?
Hey, let me ask you this. So,
come on, man.
Coaches' value in Philly is what?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I lost you.
What is the value of being a coach in Philly to the front office and to the owner? How do you look at their value and how they see those guys when you look at how they operate? Get this. So I want you to think about something, how they went about their business this week. And this has been a theme since I've seen the team since 17, is this. So they parade Nick out this week. Nick goes out, does his normal press conferences. Coordinators go out and talk. Jeffrey Lurie gets a hair on his ass, calls Howie in the morning. They have cannolis. They sit around having espresso. They wake up. They call Nick in and say, we're changing the coordinator. What? And Nick goes with it? If Nick is such a pushback guy like Silsky said, he didn't fight for him? And yet 2 days earlier, he said he's my guy? Which is it? Is he not fighting for him? Or is he a yes man? What do you think Nick is? I'm going to put you on the spot here. You think Nick's a yes man? Or do you think Nick fights for his coaches?
Well, based on what I saw, he clearly didn't fight for him. So that begs the question.
He contradicted himself.
Right. So that begs the, and this is why I tell Nick not to talk too much, because when you go out the window and say, oh, yeah, this is my guy, and then he gets fired, but then you're described as being this guy who pushes back, which is it? So again, man, you know, when it comes to Nick Serianni, what did Frank Reich tell him from the beginning? You want this job? You got to go along to get along. And I think that's what he's doing.
You know what? You know what I think Frank really meant is that, listen, everyone in that organization that works under Howie has a voice, and you have to respect their voices. Now, that's vague. You understand what I mean? It's vague. To what degree? And I think Doug got sick of that. Okay? Because, you know, like you know what? I should have known when Kevin Baird goes like this, you know, maybe it's in the best interest, which makes me believe, because if he knew Desai had been replaced as play caller, he would have never made that comment public, because he came out, Tone, like 3 days earlier, and or 2 days earlier, and he goes, you know what I think it would be best for us? This is an experienced all-pro safety talking, going like this. Maybe what we should do is get our own information and come up with game plans, and maybe we should have more of a say. And I'm paraphrasing this. Doesn't that completely contradict not just the coaches, but the analytics department that's they're not trusting the game plan. Desai's name is on the game plan.
What I say a couple weeks ago, last week, I said I don't think these players are trusting the game plan recently. I don't think so.
They're not trusting Desai. They're not trusting the game plan. And they're not trusting the fax machine. You know why Desai's indecisive? Because the game plan's indecisive. The game plan that you have in front of you, with the sheet you have, and the things you do have all been discussed, from the coaches, from the analytics, to the players. And you're sitting here, Brian Johnson, Sean Desai, Jalen Hurts don't have conviction in the game plans. And that's why they're so good at so many positions on that team. And hey, I've never seen a 10-3 team that is so disorganized and so they hate their record. The organization doesn't. You fired your GM, your DC. You hate what's happening.
Well, hold on, wait, Sills. He got demoted. So, you know.
Okay.
I've been telling people, listen, I said this many times today. I said, to me, this is a firing masked as a demotion.
Wait a minute.
He won't be here next year.
Watch this, Tone. It'd be like my wife come to me going, hey, look, you're still my husband, but I'm moving John in. and John's moving in here, and he's going to sleep in my bed, and he's going to sit at the head of the table. You're still,
Oh my God.
you're still my husband.
But you sleep at the foot of the bed now.
But no. You sleep in the guest room, and Johnny sleeps with me in the main king bed and drinks out of the Big Sills cup now. And
By the way, he takes your recliner too.
No, absolutely has my little like slippers and shit. All that. You're still my husband, but Johnny's now the dude that's going to be in my rack and in the
Just
bedroom.
fire me, man. Just fire me. Just fire. But listen, Sean, it's all like, no, I need that check. So I hang around.
Why would they keep him around?
I don't know. It's ugly. It's nasty. It's disgusting.
It'll be uglier if they lose.
It's toxic. It's toxic behavior. You demoted the man, and you still want him to be out there and hang tough. Just fire me, man. And again, let's bring it full circle, right? I don't have a problem with the move. I don't. But I have a problem with how they've been handling business this past 7 days.
7 days?
Yeah.
What, the whole year?
Well, I'm starting from the beginning of the media circus.
Okay.
Yeah. But to your point, yeah. I haven't been a fan of how they've handled business. Period. But again, the move, I welcome the move. I welcome the change.
Okay. Here's another conspiracy thing.
Uh-oh, here we go. Buckle up, Eagles fans. Here we go.
Okay. Follow me here on this. You don't think that this has been some plan hatched by the owner by the time the playoffs come, that they're going to like ducks at an arcade. They're going to knock down Desai first, put Patricia in. Then, if this thing looks terrible and wobbles, Johnson's next. Then Nick takes over. They bring in Frank. And they have Frank, Nick, and Patricia as your coordinators going into the playoffs.
That would be the what is this, House of Cards? This is crazy.
I'm just saying. Would you feel comfortable with that?
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that level of dysfunction. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that part of it.
Would you rather have those guys calling your plays versus the Cowboys and Niners?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have the guys that you have now calling plays?
If you ask me, would I rather have Frank Reich and Matt Patricia versus Brian Johnson on the side? Yeah, for sure. For sure. But again, how do I get to that point? And then it's going to be a bumpy ride getting there. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
If they win by 1 point tonight and it looks shitty, the next domino is him.
It's Brian Johnson. That's the next domino. That's the next domino.
Do you think he's under pressure right now?
Brian Johnson? Yes. Yeah. Yes. This is why I said to you earlier.
They can replace a coordinator at this time. If you're Brian Johnson, aren't you feeling more heat?
Yes. This is why I said to you, what message does this send to the coaching staff? It sends a big message that was the first domino to fall. And we are not afraid to pull the trigger no matter what time of year it is because we trust our process. You see what I'm saying? They trust their process so much, they're willing to put coaches on the chopping block and say, hey, we can put anybody in there to do his job. They're showing dudes that they're expendable. And I'm telling you, Nick Serianni better watch out. You better watch out.
Frank Reich's record is Super Bowl 52. No one's asking him to come in here and be the head coach.
Everyone's may not to be a head coach.
That's right.
It's hard.
That's right. You think Jeff Stoutland is head coach material? I don't. I think he's an offensive line coach material. And I think that's who he is. He's like Joe Bugle. He's one of them guys.
But here's the difference. Stoutland knows that. So he would never put himself in a position to be compromised.
Jim Johnson knew that.
Jim Johnson knew that. Who else? You have guys who tried it, but it didn't work out for him. Jim Schwartz.
How about this? Wade Phillips is one of the greatest defensive coordinators that we've had in the last 35 years.
But he was awful in Dallas. He was awful. He was awful as a head coach in Dallas. Right. But as a DC, what he did for the Rams, he did great work there.
Did great work there.
Yeah, with Dan,
Super Bowl. Took a team to a Super Bowl when he was in Denver as a DC.
What Dan Quinn does for the Cowboys, he's marvelous. But as the head,
he covers up as much as he possibly can for that soft defense.
But what he did in Atlanta, egregious. So again, there are guys who are just better suited at coordinators. Some guys know it and they don't go for the head coaching job. Some guys need to bump their head a couple times so they know.
Tim Schwartz.
Same thing. That time in
Dude,
Detroit was off. He was awful in Detroit.
Is winning ball games.
He was awful in Detroit. Awful.
Get this. They're winning ball games because they run the ball. Kevin Stefanski should be up for NFL Coach of the Year the way he is.
I agree.
I have no idea who Joe Flacco's now the quarterback in that place. Holy shit. They dusted his ass off. And they're winning on defense, running the ball, and timely throws.
Right.
Okay. I mean, what's the Browns are 9-5? How?
They lost Deshaun Watson, 10 weeks ago?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Hey, holy cow. You don't think you could see another Wentz situation in there? Flacco goes in there, takes him to the AFC title game. Dude, I'll tell you what, if I'm Deshaun Watson, once we get to the playoffs, I'd be like, I want this bump to break.
Hey, listen,
here.
It doesn't even matter. You want to know why? He got the money. He got the money.
Hey, man. All right, Tone. I appreciate it, my friend. I'm going to go.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it too. Can't wait to get G Cobb on here, man.
I can't wait to hear G Cobb here tonight. Let's get my friend on here. I think Gary Cobb's going over to the theater. It's called the Novocaine Theater. It's the play-by-the-play over at the Novocaine Center with the drama that has gone on for the last 24 hours. All right, Gary, give me your take on this thing here, man.
I think it probably was brewing for a while. I think that bringing Matt Patricia in here, there was some doubt from the start. Maybe what you had is you might have had Howie and Nick say, look, we don't totally agree on this. One of them says, hey, I want Patricia brought in here just as insurance. And I think that, this is something they've been talking about. I don't think it just happened. I think it got to the boil to the point to where they say, look, okay, that's it. I mean, we can't even slow anybody down. So I think that's when they ultimately decided that they got to do something. But it's definitely Howie and it's Nick. It's not just one of them. It's both of them. And I'm just kind of wondering, I kind of think that maybe Howie is on the side of, I think he might be on, that he's on the side of, from New England.
Patricia.
Yeah, because, I just think that that's the way I think. But, I'm not sure of that.
How about this, though, Gary?
Yeah.
On Tuesday, though, Nick was asked explicitly, are there going to be any changes made? He goes, no. We have the guys in the building that we need. We have everybody what we want. And then in a matter of 48 hours, that thing goes from, then there's a full practice on Tuesday. I was like, okay, that's new. Then you got Jalen Hurts doing up downs. And I'm going accountability to make Nick look good. Yeah. How much do you think the owner came in and said to Howie first to put it in Nick's ear, hey, enough is enough here. We've got to do something. I mean, isn't this kind of a repeat of how Doug was undermined a little bit, that all of a sudden, he wanted to coach. Next day, he's fired. It just seems a lot of conversation.
Boy, you got to go there. Woo. But I as I think about it, I know that Jeffrey Lurie is not just in this a little bit. I mean, as for his connection with this team. So I don't think that's out of the question. Clearly,
he's got Gary, some kind I'm not upset with the move. I'm upset how they got there. Are you?
Well, I think timing wise,
week 15.
Yeah, I mean, week 15, I thought that I would have been thinking a while back. I mean,
yeah, The
I got to
vibe.
get Sean Desai's got to come into my office and explain to me what is going on. You know what I mean? He's got to come in and explain to me, like, dude, what are you doing? And I don't know that he could have explained to me well enough to where I've got guys out there don't look like they have a clue. You know, I don't see guys getting smarter. I don't, you know, at least I want players that know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, I'm sorry. You know, and that's where I had a problem a while back. Like, look, this is not working. You see experienced corners and these guys playing off. Come on. It's not that hard to disguise your coverage. It's really not that hard. Move around. You don't just go and stay in place. And look at the way Kansas City was playing. You see those guys, they put pressure on offense. They're moving around. It's not that hard. And so that's where I had a major problem with. I'm saying, like, these guys are playing like they're in their first year of college.
I know. Gary, I got to throw this at you here. Now, again, this is me being conspiracy sills here.
Uh-huh.
Don't you find it weird that tonight, Darius Slay, he goes under the knife over the weekend, and Matt Patricia is calling his first game, and he's the play caller. Slay's not there. And at the beginning of the year, there was some sort of pseudo conversation between Slay and Patricia. Is everybody cool? Or the hard relationship they had in Detroit. Is that just coincidence that all of a sudden, it's a scope too, Gary? Yeah. It's not repairing cartilage, or it's a scope.
That's
you could have did this Tuesday.
Yeah, you're right. You know, it smells to me. It smells, especially the way I hear, you know, I hear him talking all the time. He never shuts up. I go in the locker room, yap. And he's one of those guys. You know, he's a good player. So I'm not saying that I'm going to get rid of him or anything. I am going to talk to him, though. But what you're saying is I was very suspicious of it. I'm going, what? When did he have surgery? Did he just go on his own? What is going on?
Out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere, man. I'm going like, what is going on? So it does smell to me. And yeah, they had a relationship. And you know, once you have a relationship with a coach, you know, putting it back together, I don't know, you know. And so I definitely was suspicious of that. It doesn't smell right because, you know, when Nick was up there, it's like somebody calls him on it. Come on, man. Why do you not come in and go, okay, by the way, I want to tell you that, you know, Slay has had surgery on his knee. Come on. You come in and you tell. You're not trying to do it behind scene. Like, you know, come on.
You did it over the weekend.
It smells. It smells, you know. And the thing is, you know, which makes you wonder, you know, I'm not sure about the way this whole thing has happened, but it does smell, man. This whole thing smells.
I just wonder, okay, is he going to play? Are we going to see him again? I mean, is there there's between the firing, the surgery, him not active tonight, the relationship, what's going on all week, the theatrical show they put on to show Nick's strength. He contradicted himself twice. I'm like, Gary, are you worried about tonight's game?
I'm very worried because, you know, this is Bush League. Come on. This is not the way you do business. Come on now. And the rest of the guys have to look at it and go, you know, I want them focused on football. But how could they not be thinking about all this? You don't think their family, their friends calling them, hey, what's going on? What's going on? You know, you got guys around the league calling them, going, hey, man, what's going on over there? You know? This is not normally the way where all of a sudden you got to switch. You got a 10-3 team just before the one of the games. This week, you know, what is it? You got the 14th game of the season. All of a sudden, you got all this breaks right before the game. What?
On the eve of a game you need.
Come on, a game, the game of the year. Come on. It's a winnable game. It's a game that now, after the Cowboys have lost, you're sitting in the driver's seat. Come on. You know, but yet you got all this going on. It's not really the thing you want. And then you hear, you know, that, Jalen is ill. I mean, all of this, you're going like, man. And you know, and it's tough going out there anyway, because it's a long trip. You know, especially young guys lose their focus, take a long trip. And whatever they see, they get to talking about whatever else is going on other than the game. And now you got all this stuff going on, and guys on the team can't help but talk about it some.
Too much noise.
That breaks your focus.
Too much noise.
It's too much noise. I don't like that, especially when you know tonight you got to play some young players. You got to have you know, a guy you normally don't have in there. They're going to have
Ringo's on DK Metcalf tonight.
Come on, man. that matchup is tough because you know you can't put 24 on him.
No.
He can't run with him.
He'll run him over.
There's no way he can put him over there. So, you know, Slay's out. You know, it's going to be one of the kids. You got to put one of the kids out there, and they're going to go after him. You know they're going to be going after him.
Oh, no, they're going to play pitch and catch all night long with that thing. Gary, let me ask you this about Brian Johnson. Now that you see this, and you see that the Eagles are capable of making whatever you want to call this decision by taking the play calling. Hey, by the way, before I get to that question, a couple last questions here for you. What do you make of this? So Brian Johnson's still the D coordinator, but he's not making play calls. He's being put in the booth. Patricia's becoming now the play caller, but he's not given the title of being coordinator, and he's the guy making all decisions now, but yet you're going to put him in the booth tonight so that when they pan to him, you're going to kind of humiliate Sean Desai tonight. What's your take of that? I mean,
it's
talking about dysfunctional.
It's nonsense. Come on. You know, once you demote a guy like that, you basically you cut his balls off, basically.
Yeah, you fired him.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's walking around there. How could he even look up and say hello to everybody? Because he's been fired. His authority has been taken away. So
why would you have him in the building, Gary?
I don't see why you have him in the building. Now, if you want to make him a consultant somewhere where you want to, fine. But, you know, you fired the guy. You know, you can't make him a consultant because who respects him? You don't look at the guys don't know. I mean, he's not the coach anymore. So I don't know what good he does. I don't know what you do with that other than you let the guy go home, man.
But why would you why would you still call him your DC?
I mean, it's like they're playing games, if you ask me.
I mean, okay, with that being said, then, don't you agree, Gary, that if you're Brian Johnson and this thing looks pathetic tonight, that he could be next? And go with me here. Here's another one that I'm looking at here, haven't talked to Frank. Do you think it would be out of the realm of possibility that Brian Johnson's the next pelt on the wall and they want to replace all these coordinators by the time they get to the playoffs? Nick takes over. They hire Frank as a consultant, and you have Frank Reich, Nick Serianni, and Matt Patricia as your play callers heading into the postseason versus what you have now. Because if you'll do, like you said, if you'll fire a DC in week 15 and you're 10-3, you're capable of anything, Gary.
You know, I think you have to consider that. But if they were to do that, they might as well.
Is it panic?
Come on, they might as well do their own movie. I mean, come on, they can't do that. Really, they can't do that because that is just a step beyond. You fire both of your coordinators. Come on,
and you're 10 and 3.
Not a team that's now if you were 2-6, 2-13 or something, fine. But you can't on a 10-3 team. I don't know that you can fire both of them. I don't think you can fire both of them and be looked on as a seriously run organization. So I think that it's going to be tough. Now, I know they might be thinking it because you see issues on that side of the ball too.
But Gary, don't you think that the owner, if he had a conversation with Howie, they weren't just talking about one side of the ball?
I think you're right.
Don't you think that they were evaluating the entire coordinator position before they made that call to move Desai out on Sunday?
I do believe that. But I think if they remove both coordinators,
I get it.
It's just so much and so unusual that I don't know that they want to do that. Now, there may be merit to it. I mean, look, Desai wasn't doing a good job. Johnson's not doing a good job either. I mean, they're really not doing a good job. But I don't know that they want to go ahead and get rid of both of them, But
you think Jalen would have too much influence in that, not wanting that move to go in there? And
yeah, probably so. But I tell you what, if things don't pick up in the offseason, I don't know how he stays.
I'm going to throw this at you here. Here's the last one here. This is a prime example. I watched something last night in the Dallas game that just blows my mind, and how the Eagles didn't follow suit when everyone knows that Dan Quinn has done a great job of masking the softness in their run game and their run defense in Dallas. Do you know last night, Gary, they ran the ball 49 times and had only 7 completions.
I know.
And they blew out the Dallas Cowboys. You got a situation tonight where Seattle is not very good against the run. And they're one of the worst teams against the run. I don't want to see a balanced attack tonight. I want to see 50 runs tonight. Get the win, get the hell out of there.
That's right.
Towards the end of the season here. I mean, I don't need balance tonight. They need to be committed tonight running the ball.
I'm right on board with you. I think that I would have a talk with those guys, and I've said early in the week, I would have a talk with my big guys. And I'm not just talking offensively, defensively as well. Look, because the offensive line is crap, okay? The offensive line is no good. I mean, come on. You got Peters playing. Come on. You know the offensive line, they're no good.
Guys, 42.
That's right, at 42. You have got to expose them. And so the Eagles' offensive line has got to take over this game, and they got to be able to run the ball, and they don't need to be cute about it. They need to ball up their fist and say, fellas, y'all going for a ride. Leonard Williams in there. He's a pretty good player. There's nobody else on their line. It's garbage. And that's on both sides, really, offensively and defensively. They got to win the ball up front. They got to win the game up front. They got to run the football. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly. The thing these guys got to realize, look, this is your season. I mean, you can't let your season fall apart like this and forget all of the crap that's going on, because that is distracting to make these kind of moves. Come on. It makes you think the team is a joke. You're moving people in and out playing games. And no, he should have came out, if he was going to do this, should have came out at the beginning of the week and said he was going to do that. Come out, say it, talk about it. That's it. We're not talking about it anymore. We move on. This late in the week, and it all comes out, and the guys on the team are going, what? They know what happened, but there's no announcement. They're walking around with a secret. Come on. Why you got the guys walking around with a secret, man? Come on.
Jesus, man.
I don't like the way that, and you don't want to get the team. That's where you got this circus. You don't want the circus, you know? You don't want the circus atmosphere because your young guys can't focus in that. And you're going all the way to Seattle. You know you lose young guys sometimes on trips. I've seen it. Going like, dude, man, this is not no, look, we're going here to play this game, man. We're not going here to get out here.
Business trip.
Come on. You know, you talk to your young guys, you try to get them out of that mentality. Look, this is a business trip. We're not going to have fun. We're not going to have fun, especially your defensive players, because you really need to play defensively. You got to play with some anger. You can't be, this is not fun. You know, we're going out here, you know, to beat these guys up. We're not going here to have a good time and la-di-da. No. So, and a lot of times, you know, it's hard to keep your young players in that mentality if you're taking a long trip and stuff. So with all of this nonsense, you got to have your older players talk to the young guys, say, look, dude, this is business. This is our careers. This is our year. We've got ourselves in a position where we could have a special year. Don't get caught up in all of the media stuff. You can't get caught up in that. You got to be focused on playing football, and they got to play well. And, you know, they got some weapons that could really cause a problem, you know, with those wide receivers they got. So
I want to end this with you here, Gary. How much of this year, especially on the defensive side of the ball, it's almost like Howie uses these coaches. Go down the list, Doug, anybody. He uses these coaches for his own failure. I've never seen an analytics guy in his department ever fired. I rarely see any personnel guys ever fired. All I see is assistant coaches demoted, fired, head coaches fired. Nobody under him. It's always like, it seems to me, it's their fault not putting my guys in a position to win. When, quite frankly, you try to put Christian Ellis on George Kittle in that Niner game. I heard a guy earlier on my network even make the point. He goes, how could he not recognize that? Well, because he's not good enough. I go, there's a reason why you have scrub team, second team, first team. There is a difference. Why scrubs can't cover George Kittle. Why? Because he doesn't recognize it. He hasn't had enough reps.
Yeah.
It's almost like, Gary, every guy that's on that linebacking core has been waived. And you're expecting these guys to cover George Kittle or Christian McCaffrey. There's a reason you were cut.
That's right.
It's because you couldn't cover them.
That's right.
That's not going to change in Philly.
That's right. You know, they and I think they need to have a serious talk this offseason, because you look at San Francisco, you look at the linebackers they send out there. Come on. Nowadays, you got to have guys that can run and can tackle. You know, and they got to be able to tackle in open field.
Gary, here's the difference between San Francisco and Philly. Warner was drafted in the third round. Dean was drafted in the third round.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct, but I want to say it probably ends right there then, huh?
Okay. Hey, right there, Gary. I mean, you have Dean. Yeah. They have Warner.
Yeah.
Both were third round draft choices.
That's
How
right.
you doing?
You know, they got to get serious though. They got to do a better job. I mean, you got to have talent there, and you can't just take it for granted. Come on, look how important a job they do versus the run in the pass. Come on, they're making most of the tackles. How is that not an important position? I don't get it. Now, you don't have as many guys out there, but you got to have some special players in that position, because they got to make all these open field tackles. They got to be able to cover. They got to be able to play against the run. I don't see how that's not a very important position. But the guys up front, of course, are very important as well. But I think those linebackers, man, you know, I think it's important.
Do they win tonight?
With all this stuff, you know, I mean, there's so many variables. Like, you don't know, like what's going on with Jalen. I don't know.
Drew Lock,
tough.
I think, is getting the start tonight.
I think it's going to be tough for them to win tonight, to be honest with you. Because I'm telling you, young guys, when you take them on trips, A lot of times you can lose them on the trip. You know, you look at the kid in the huddle, you're going, hey, man, wake up.
It's a 3 technique, kid. Move your ass over. That's like Cobb kicking me in the ass. Move over, 3 technique, not head up. Gary, we'll see tonight. I tell you what, man, Philadelphia could be on like Rome is burning. It could be like Philly is burning if something happens tonight and they don't get that win.
I'm gonna say they're gonna win. I'm thinking Jalen's gonna try to. He's gonna get us. He's gonna find a way to get out there and try to make it happen.
I agree with you, Gary. Thank you so much. Have a great call on the game for Fox 29. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right,
you got it, Gary Cobb. Holy cow, man! Can you imagine tomorrow if that thing? Oh, what am I praying for? Should I pray for a loss? No, because then it's a negative show, and I don't want to do that. I picked them to win if Jalen plays. Now, if Jalen doesn't play and he's vomiting and they yank him, they ain't winning. Seattle will win that game. The holy hell breaks loose. I like holy hell breaking loose. Wins only? I think so too, Trey. No one likes covering the Arizona Cardinals. You know, I don't want to do that. Yeah, no. There's been too much. See, I don't like every day a negative. I like to have I like to do a couple days of kicking someone's ass, and then you know what? You build it back up again. Yeah, no, I don't. That's not how I am. I don't want that. That's more something like Keon and LJ. Those guys like to be urinated on all day, like Trump. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a myth. Yeah, so. You know, it got to be a win. It's got to be a win. Yeah, I'm going with the win. Yeah, all right. Hey, don't forget. Speaking of winning, Hooters December, absolutely awesome. Santa bonus bucks, my friends. We so appreciate you going into each and every single one of the locations, all 7 of the locations from Rhode Island to Jersey, all the way down to King of Prussia. January 6th, we're going to be there at King of Prussia, so we want you to get a heads up there. All the great gift cards, too. The Santa Bucks, man, make great gifts. Go to HootersToGo.com. If you don't want to go into the place tonight to watch the Eagles and the Seahawks tonight, you can get the food to go. Monday is Military Mondays, 20% off. Don't forget happy hours, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. 6 items, 6 bunks. The lunch specials, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 3 p.m. Boneless wings, absolutely fantastic. That's NortheastHooters.com. NortheastHooters.com. When you roll in, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.
Any professional sports coach will tell you there's no substitution for preparation. At Malamut & Associates, that is a tenet by which we live. We prepare from day one for victory. Anything less is not acceptable.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Man, is Gardner Minshew having a great year. Damn! Look at that Gardner Minshew. Where is he now? Dude's 8-6, and he's in the 7 hole. Guy's on pace for 3,500 passing yards, and he took over week 4. Who would have thunk it? This guy's going to throw for 20 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew. Not bad, kid. Way to go. Maverick. Hey, you got it. Who would have thought that Maverick has 2 less wins than Hurts? Damn! Yeah. That's unbelievable. Look at Spider Rico going. That's it, the mullet. The mullet is going to put a 10-win team together. Holy cow. Look at the mullet. Dude, no Jonathan Taylor, a dysfunctional owner. I mean, holy cow. Gardner Minshew. Woo! Look at that guy. Jesus criminy. That's unbelievable. Minshew with 0-2 stacked roster last year. Funny, the coordinator decided to do the right thing and make a system for him instead of that bullshit Howie system, and they're winning. How you doing? That's right, Maniac. They had that kid Moss. No running back, 1 wide receiver, and there's Minshew, 2 wins away from 10 wins. Damn. Here's another quarterback that's outplaying your boy. This is insane. This is insane. Jared Goff is having a better year than your guy throwing the ball. It's not close. Jared Goff is on pace for 46-26, 32 touchdowns, 68 completion percentage, and a 98.2 quarterback rating. Tops Hurts in every number. Every number. And on top of that, this will be the 4th year he's thrown for 4,000 yards in the last 6. Damn. And you got the kneecap eater up there. Shit, man. You got the kneecap eater. Hey, if I were you, man, I wouldn't lose this game tonight because then you pull even with Detroit at 10-4. Woo! Oh, then it's a race to 5. Woo! That's right, because then Detroit is in that conversation for the 2-hole. Right? Got the same record as you. Lions are suspect? Hey, Sully. Sully goes to Lions are suspect, but not you. No. Not you. Good for them. Now, I like that attitude, DB. Good for them. They're now letting up, it seems. Yes, sir. Hey, by the way, LJ, see Josh Allen last night, the way he was running that team. I didn't give a shit about stats last night. They cared about winning a ball game. Maybe your guys should try that. You should take a page out of what the Buffalo Bills are doing. Instead of trying to appease your owner, hey, we've got to throw the ball. We got to look really good aesthetic in today's NFL. That thing was ugly as sin last night. Get this. That's a game where Jeffrey Lurie calls Nick into the room going, 15 passes? Really? We scored 31 points. I'll play you guys. 15 passes? We scored 31 points. We ran the Cowboys out of the building. It was never competitive. Yeah, but 15 passes. I mean, yeah, okay. That's what our coaching staff put together as a game plan. Yeah, but that's what the analytics guys were counter. They didn't believe you should go that route. Oh, well, that's why those guys lick stamps and put checks in envelopes and fill out the taxes. And they got everything on Microsoft Word. Me, I have playbooks. I have game film. They have Microsoft Word. Okay? These guys go off graphs, sliding projections, and protractors. I did say protractors. That's what you can see. Hey, and Philly, this is what you got. Well, this can't be us. We put the intel together. The guys aren't lining up right. They're not getting it, so they're not being well coached. Guys who got off the street, they're expecting Sean Desai to rub a magic genie lamp and turn them into Seth Joyner. That's dumb. And then get this, because the Philly media is so warped and so polluted when it comes to kissing the ass and having knee pads for that NovaCare Center, they'll say anything to cover for him. OC called it all runs. Allen just farted around. Who cares? One of the hottest teams going. Okay? You! Go get him, Josh. Here's my boy. That's the team I thought was making to the Super Bowl. I don't know, man. They can't have any mess-ups. I think they're going to win out, actually. I do. I think they're going to win out. And you don't want to see that team. They may win the division, actually, still. You don't want to see Josh Allen again. Woo! Boy, that kid looks unbelievable. What a great win streak they're on. Joe Brady's done a hell of a job. It's called, hello, game plan. Have you heard of one, Philly? Oh, man, this thing tonight. Have we heard anything about Hurts playing? Yeah, okay. Look at what somebody just said. And we beat the Bills. And the Bills blasted a team that kicked the shit out of you. And the Bills put 500 yards on you. Part of the reason your coach was fired. Woo! They beat up a team that killed you. Is that a lie? Is that a lie? Man, he beat the piss out of that team. Sean Desai fired because he's 10-3. And by the way, here's what's going to happen. You ready for this? Here will be Eagle fans, and here will be guys like 5-star LJ, that idiotic Arthur. They'll all be doing, look at the defense. It's turned around against the Giants and the Cardinals. We're back on track again. Everything is fine and hunky-dory. until you have to play the Niners with blast you again. And everyone will be buying into the fool's gold. 28-6, nothing to show for it. How you doing? How you doing? Eagles did not kill the Bills. They did not kill the Bills. Another lie. They did not kill the Bills. You killed the Bills. Only a jaded Eagle fan who doesn't see reality would say that. One guy almost kicked your shit in, and then he kicked the team's ass that beat you up. It's a week-to-week proposition, my friends. It's a week-to-week proposition. Yeah, and they beat the Bills. So you want to play your little game? Connect the dots. Oh, yes, indeed. Had a 10-point lead. Great. Thank God you have Hurts. It ain't your wonderful play calling and your analytics department and your bullshit head coach taking marching orders from General Roseman. Okay, not only are they going to embarrass tonight Sean Desai, but you've already embarrassed Nick Serianni. You have him on a Tuesday lying, and then you have him on a Sunday lying. My God. Have some integrity about yourselves. And then you just absolutely, once again, for as tough as the Philly media is, you don't have an ass with the fact that it's more important for those guys to be talking to Jay Glazer than to Reuben Frank. You don't have a problem with that? Or beat writers that cover the team? You don't have a problem with that? So, hey, get this. So every time Nick Serianni from now on comes to the media table on a Tuesday and talks, I'll never believe a word he says moving forward. I will never believe a word he says. Okay, hey, LJ, you want to know what flip-flopping is? Your coach. He flip-flopped talking about how good Desai was on Tuesday, and then he fired him Sunday. Is that flip-flop? Curious. Is that a flip-flop? Probably not in your eyes. It doesn't bother me. Once again, see, when Yale says it doesn't bother me, the problem that you have is with that, who's running the show? It's not about the fact that the guy shouldn't have been fired. Really, nobody's actually debating that. Timing matters. Why didn't you fire him at the bye? Made more sense in the bye, didn't it? You couldn't have been happy with him in the bye. Or wait, the two losses were the things that took him over the top? Or was it all year that you had sucked? So 8 quarters got Sean Desai fired? Or were those I'm so confused on how they got here. So confused. Okay? Damn. Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir. You got to love it. Hey, I love it. You guys can get mad. See, I've learned a lesson in my 30-some-odd plus years in broadcasting. You can aim your anger at me when you should be aiming your anger at your organization. You'll be 28-6 with nothing to show for it. Power Hour coming up. We're going to reset. Look at week 15 of the NFL, where we are in the NFL playoff race. Tonight could dictate some stuff. I don't think too much. Also, Coach of the Year candidates. There's been some great coaching jobs this year. One of them's not in Philly. Okay? But there's been really some great coaching jobs. And we do have a vote in this. I would never vote for Nicky. Okay? So I have my thoughts on who I look at as the top 10 with the NFL alumni stuff. So what we'll do is take a timeout, power hour, keep it here on the National Football Show.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.
Any professional sports coach will tell you there's no substitution for preparation. At Malamut & Associates, that is a tenet by which we live. We prepare from day one for victory. Anything less is not acceptable.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills. Woo, baby. Getting closer. Rent's due. Oh my God. I can't wait for tonight. By the way, you can follow me over on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. Man. Yeah. Cannot wait. Yes, sir. Shit, man. All kinds of shit went bad for the Eagles. Big Dom's no longer allowed on the sidelines. Fired your DC. What a weekend. Pretty epic, huh? He said he had his guys in the building technically. Patricia was in the building, so he didn't lie. Oh, you're right. Then why would, okay, Big Marshall. Then why did you put out Sean Desai as your defensive coordinator last week in a press conference? And he was going about his business like nothing had changed. Explain that one. He was lying too? Or didn't he know at that moment? He did a press conference as the defensive coordinator last week. I watched it. I mean, so now you're trying to cover for a liar. Now you're trying to cover for a liar. He was introduced by the Eagles as the defensive coordinator at a press conference last week. Was he not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Oh, I see. So, yeah, then I'll just take that for what it is. Every time the Eagles talk, I'll never believe a word they say moving forward. I know better anyway. Coach is untruthful. Organizations run. Nick Serianni's a pigeon. He's a pigeon. He's the carrier of messages. That's all he is. He's a pigeon. Yeah, he's a pigeon. That's all he does, dude. Carries his little messages. You want this to be said? Howie, you want this to be said? You want this to be said? You want this to be said? It's quite comical, actually. It really is. It's quite comical. Then again, you could be the Jets, who haven't been in the playoffs in 13 years. The Jets. I feel for Jody, man. 13 years. It's like being celibate for 13 years. Holy cow, man. Man, oh man. Yeah. Unbelievable. So, what's the score tonight? Ooh, man. What's the score tonight? $31-10. When have the Eagles played that good enough defense where they've only surrendered 10 points in the last month? Where's that game? What game is that? What game is that? Hard to predict. Both quarterbacks questionable. Geno's not playing. Got to go with Drew Lock. Not horrible. He wasn't that bad against San Francisco. He was actually better than Jalen. 22 of 31, 260, 2 touchdowns. Had 2 picks. Jalen had turnovers too. He played just as well against the 49ers as Hurts did. I don't know. Actually, Seattle played him better. Eagles pass defense is taking another dip. 23rd now, pass defense. And you're 48.1%, which is last in surrendering first downs on third down. Damn. Rumor has it Howie has OC next week. Howie is the OC. It's just AKA analytics. Patricia will probably lock down and try to lock down DK Metcalf. Here's the problem that I have with Matt Patricia being now the coordinator. So Matt Patricia doesn't have Darius Slay to lock down Metcalf. Even if you wanted to lock down Metcalf, you don't have a player on your roster that's capable of doing it. Where are you inventing him from? Your minds? Some sort of magical, schematical way that you've played defense all year? What's drastically going to change that you're going to have a rookie line up on a Pro Bowl wide receiver who is a perennial 1,000-yard guy every year and a maybe the most physical wideout in the league? Who's that guy again? Keely Ringo. You might as well line Ringo's star up out there. Ringo's big and fast. He's going to have to be, because that's not really going to matter, big and fast. DK Metcalf is big and powerful. Okay? And you don't really think that Keely Ringo can outrun DK Metcalf in 100 meters, do you? I'm not putting my money on him. Ringo's a big kid. Yale goes, I like him. He's a bulldog. You like Nolan Smith too? Okay. Jalen's ill. You're not flying Jalen Hurts to Seattle, Washington to put him in an infirmary. You're flying him there to get him ready and try to get him as prepared as possible, as sick as he is. Hey, dude, to quarantine him like that, he must be pretty ill. And for Jalen to get on an airplane to want to do that, to me, the player's will to want to play is going to supersede it, because this is not injury. He's just got to go out there and play and overcome. Now, hopefully he can. I'll take a 50% Jalen Hurts over anything that the Eagles have right now at quarterback. I don't want Marcus Mariota doing anything. No interest in that. Okay? Get this. Look at McNabb says, Sills only brings negativity purposely. So do you think this last weekend was positive? You see, when you got a guy like McNabb, what was positive? The move? I said it was. Well, but other than that, what was positive? The surprise surgery by Slay not being anything. People thought he was just injured. He thought he was hurt. He missed practice. All of a sudden, he's gone for Monday night's game, which theoretically you need him against Metcalf. He's not there. Don't you understand, when you don't have Darius Slay on the field against DK Metcalf, you close the odds of you winning that game. Just because you're the Eagles doesn't make you a better roster right now when you keep losing players. So Zach Cunningham, you have 3 starters out. Is that right? A wounded defense, and you're okay. And you just fired your coordinator. Positive weekend. Nolan's not a bust. How do you know? How do you know Nolan Smith's a bust? They got him in the same garage that Rashad Penny's in. That break when needed glass, you know? Rashad Penny and Nolan Smith. 2 guys that went into the Bermuda Triangle. No, I'm going to start calling it the Howie Roseman Triangle. It's like the Bermuda Triangle. What happened to those guys? I don't know. I can't find them. The Howie Roseman Triangle. What the hell happened to those guys? I don't know. They're just in the Bermuda Howie Roseman Triangle. Where are them dudes? He's on. Hey, both of them are on the roster, though. Oh. Yeah, I know. I mean, whatever happened to them guys? I don't know. You know, they just kind of like vaporized. Kind of like, you know, when Jim Kirk gets the, you know, he's got to call the tricorder and they put the phaser on the guy and they blow him away. And all he is that little dust, or they kind of vaporize him, right, with the phaser. The Star Trek phaser got him. Yeah. It's you ever seen these guys? No, I don't know who you're talking about. I got 29-20 Eagles tonight. Okay. Jay Money. Hey, Dan, a little late to the show. If Brian Johnson is next on the chopping block, what do you think will take over for him? And even if it doesn't matter anymore this year, it does. Jay Money. I threw it out there earlier. I think that you'll have Nick take over. They'll bring in Frank, and you'll have Frank Reich and Nick calling offensive plays in the playoffs. And you'll have Matt Patricia, the D coordinator, with 3 Super Bowl rings. I don't know. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Versus the inexperience you had all year and the bumpy ride you're on. Brian Johnson's next. Oh, yeah. He's the next one up on the chopping block. You know them old Westerns, man, when you're taking a guy to like the guillotine or you're taking him to like the hangman's noose. He's next. That dude's next. Howie's got like a noose in his analytics department. Who's next? Like Judge Smales. I didn't want to do it. Felt I had to. Felt I owed it to him. Hey, right? It's Judge Smales. Denny, you got to decide whether you're good or whether you're bad. Understand, Denny? I didn't want to do it, but I felt I owed it. Judge Smales. All right. Hey, we're going to take a look at week 15 here in the NFL, but I want to throw this at you too here. Coaching jobs. No, let me get back to the game. This is, again, do me a favor tonight. This is just a note. As we're getting closer to the pregame show, I don't want to balance the attack tonight. I want you to run the ball 40 times. Okay? 40 times. No balanced attack. I don't want 25 passes and 25 runs. I want an unbalanced attack. Why? Seattle sucks with their run defense. Run at them. Show me you're smart. And you go against the least amount of resistance, which is the sorry-ass Seattle run defense. There's no excuse. Last night, Buffalo showed you it wasn't about Josh Allen. It was a bigger picture. 49 rushing. I don't know if Josh Allen has ever, in a 60-minute ball game, only thrown the ball 15 times. They beat the doorknobs off of Dallas, one-dimensional last night. 7 completed passes. 7. Against a Cowboy team that was red hot. 7 completed passes in 60 plays. They blew them out. One-dimensional. I brought this stat up earlier. In the 2 games that the Eagles played against the Cowboys, you ran the ball a total 56 times in 2 games. The Bills ran it almost 50 times last night. 7 fewer in 1 game than you did in 2 as a total. That's a football team that knows weakness and identifies it. The Eagles can't identify it because your analytics department aren't coaches. They act like it. I think you're in trouble tonight. I don't know if you lose, but you're in trouble. Why? Because you've got self-inflicted chaos around you. It's self-inflicted noise. You have an opportunity tonight to put Dallas in the rearview mirror. Okay? I wouldn't blow this opportunity like the guy talking to Rocky. You can't pass it by. Because that means Detroit, they even the score with you and they're 10-4. And then it's a race to 2. Okay? Then it's a race to 2. You not only knock yourself out of, by the way, you lose tonight, no chance of home field. 0. It's over. Home field advantage, and you've never gone to a Super Bowl having not hosted home field advantage in your history. Okay? You never have. So not only are you going to be trying to do something historical to get back to the game, But you also are going to add into it, you've never went to a Super Bowl that you didn't have home field advantage that particular year. So you got to put that into proper context. Okay? First time for everything. Yes, there is. I quite frankly saw a bunch of it over the weekend. Firing your DC at 10-3, eight quarters out, your owner gets a little bit rattled, and he fires a 10-3 DC. Okay, I thought you moved off the wrong DC or OC or coordinator. I thought it should have been Brian Johnson, but hey, all right. And then get this. Here's the troubling factor here. And I hope Seth Joyner hits on this. I really do. I hope Seth Joyner hits on this when he talks about how this is not just Sean Desai's problem. You want Sean Desai to coach up guys who are cut to cover George Kittle and think you're going to put Howie Roseman's garbage out there on the field to cover guys like Brandon Ayuk, CeeDee Lamb, and cover some of the most talented, skilled people on the planet with players who have been waived. There's a reason we have a scrub team. There's a reason we have a practice team. There's a reason you're a starter. There's a reason you're a perennial backup. Okay? There's a reason for that. And then when you get people covering the team, I saw a play when George Kittle got open and ran down the field for 32 yards. Yeah, and no one was near him. Yeah, because you had Christian Ellis on him. Christian Ellis, they cut him the next Tuesday. And he started. Who in their right mind would think Christian Ellis could hang with George Kittle? Even if you lined him up and told him to play. Just put in Tanner McKee. Why? This is not a Jalen Hurts issue. You know what you could do to some of those linebackers you have? You could tell them the snap count to play, and they still couldn't defend it. And you're expecting Desai, when they don't know the play or the snap count, to put inexperienced and less than talented guys that aren't first-team guys to cover first-team guys in a system that doesn't really work. It's covering your ass. Desai doesn't blitz. He sucks. BJ's next. Desai doesn't blitz because he's told not to blitz. Don't you guys get it? The only thing that Sean Desai is responsible for is that the fact that his name is on the game plan. And he's calling a game plan that he doesn't even believe in. And here's something else. The Eagles never believed in Sean Desai. You know why? They hedged their bets with Patricia. How many times did I say this to you? Why did they hire Matt Patricia? Do you remember he didn't even really have a job title? And they didn't introduce him for a couple weeks? I was like, what's he doing here? I go, there's your coordinator. And sure enough, he became the coordinator. What was his involvement all year? All of a sudden, he's going to parachute in and start play calling? What was his involvement? Did he have any? Was he an overseer? Did he suggest anything? Is he kind of accountable for it too? What is this? I mean, what's his accountability for the way the defense has played this year, especially in the secondary, which is a forte of his? I mean, he doesn't have a job title except special assistant to the head coach or DC, I think. I think he's a special assistant to the DC, whatever the hell that means. Seals, will they allow Patricia to run his scheme? Absolutely not. That's not how you get a job. in Philadelphia, running your own scheme? Ask the guy in Baltimore that. He's a defensive special coordinator. Holy shit, you can't be. What is that? Here's Matt Patricia's title. He's a defensive special coordinator. Is that true? That can't be his real title. Tone, that's not his real title. That's not his real title. Defensive special coordinator. That can't be. You made that up, right, Tone? Okay, he's a defensive special coordinator. I've never heard of that job before. You mean, can I tell you what I think his job really is? He's a special knee pad rider to Howie Roseman. That's the job I think he has. They come with Kelly Green knee pads. Pictures of Howie on them. You know, because he likes to have his name out there. Howie Roseman. I'm telling you, man. Hey, I want to check one of those 2017 championship rings. There's not a chance a player has his name on them. They're all Howie Roseman. Roseman's got his name on all 53 rings, coaches, assistants. I bet even Merrill doesn't even have his name on it. It's got to be Howie Roseman ring. Dude, Howie didn't have anything to do with that damn thing. It was all Doug. Patricia was insurance policy. Cry more. I'm not crying. You look stupid. So here. This is all you need to know on how LJ loves this. LJ's good with this, man. Check it out. Ready? So Sean Desai will be in the booth tonight. They'll pan to him, embarrass him in front of his family and the league and the players in the league, having fired him as DC. But he's still DC, but in name title alone, because he has really no say in putting the game plan together. So the game plan then goes in the hands of Matt Patricia, who's been a babysitter for him the entire year. Or more notably, Matt Patricia has been a spy for Howie. Okay, and Nick. So the spy now is the new coordinator. Well, he's just a play caller because he's not the coordinator. Matt Spy Patricia is now the new play caller for tonight's game, but not DC in name only. But he has say now in play calling. Wow, I'm confused. Whew. Okay, man, it's like trying to figure out King Henry VIII's marriages. I'm lost here. Oh yeah, special assistants or spies. Yeah. 007. Double O Patricia. Hey, Double O Patricia. Psst. Blue Horseshoe says, this guy's not putting guys in proper positions to win. Howie, your guys are good enough. Really? Yeah. Give me the job. I'll do it. Even Caesar. There were at least how many senators in the Eyes of March that stabbed him in the back? This guy only had one. Holy cow. I mean, there's a whole bunch of senators that stabbed Caesar. Hey, your guys are good enough. He's not utilizing them. Why are you whispering? I don't know. That's what connivers do. And spies, or here, what's Tone's word? Defensive special coordinator. Yeah. Matt, what's your job? I'm a special defensive coordinator and buddy to Nick and Howie and Jeffrey. See, I have tea and crumpets with Jeffrey every Tuesday. And Wednesday, I talk with Howie on how how Sean's doing. And then double O Patricia goes back in. Hey, I'm on your side. Oh, no, because there's no backstabbing in football on guys getting ahead or wanting jobs. That doesn't go on in the league. When Mike Shanahan ran out Dan Reeves, was talking shit behind his back to Pat Bowlen, it doesn't go on. It never goes on. Everything is above board. It's the league. Because everything is right. Because Doug, right? Dude, this is how Doug was treated. Difference is that Nick goes along with it. When Doug won the Super Bowl, he's like, nah. And now they're doing the same shit again, getting in the way. Dude, how you don't see this as self-sabotage by doing something like this on the eve of a game? Why didn't you do it in the bye if you had a problem? What, because it didn't rear its head that much to you then? Because you were undefeated or whatever it was? Yeah, the Jets lost on the board. All right. So you probably weren't that panicked. So you fire a guy. And like I said, at the open of the show, you went through that whole charade last week of setting Nick up to make him look like he's in power and holding guys accountable so that you could fire Desai on Sunday. Tuesday, you talk, get this, you talked out of both sides of your mouth all week. Again, some of you guys don't have a problem with that. But again, it just shows you that what they're telling you and what actually goes on inside the organization, they contradict one another. The players don't care because the players know what the chain of command is. Like, I heard Tone talking. How does this affect the players? None. You know, the play calling will be a thing that they're going to have to deal with it. But players, they adapt quick. They're going to, okay, next guy up. They got to win a game Monday or tonight. They're not going to care about that. But they know how the pecking order goes at the NovaCare Center. So this is not a shocker to them. It's a shocker to people who cover the team, especially the Philadelphia media who got scooped. Every Philadelphia media person, I don't care what they want to say, 24 hours after the fact, you got scooped. Jay Glazer. I was telling Tone, I'm watching Sunday. Everything was cool. Nobody in Philly was talking. We're talking about Slay's surgery, which was weird. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching Jay Glazer out of nowhere. Yeah, Sean Desai has been replaced as play caller of the defensive coordinator by Matt Patricia. Desai will stay with the organization. I'm not kidding. I had to play it back because I thought I missed it. And I'm like, what? I played it back twice. I go, hang on. I checked all the blogs and I checked nobody said shit in Philly. So get this. Bob Lang, the Eagles, and everyone in the organization felt more compelled to have it break nationally than locally. All you need to know about your local media. They have them under their thumb. They don't have to tell them. And nor do they want to. They feed them bullshit. They feed them crumbs. Last 2 years, here's been the two biggest stories. Remember, what was the significance of the injury of Jalen Hurts last year? Remember that one? Everyone was like, how hurt is he? No one knew until Peter King. And Jalen told Peter King he couldn't raise his arm in the Giant game. I was like, well, that's news. And that told us a lot about those two games, Giants and Niners, that he was significantly hurt in his shoulder from that Bears game. Nobody reported that. It was all theory because the Eagles didn't tell anyone. They told Peter King, or really Jalen did. And then there's Jay Glay. I text Jay. I said, Jay, I don't want to. I don't want you to tell me who told you. But did somebody in the Eagles tell you? He goes, yeah. Somebody from the Eagles texted Jay Glazer and told Jay that Desai was no longer going to be the D coordinator. Why didn't they contact the local media, cover the team on a daily basis? Woo! Damn. So much for doing your job. Talk about tonight's game. We'll give you our predictions again. I will go over a little bit of week 15, what we saw yesterday to set up tonight's game. A little bit of the playoff picture. We're going to do that. I'm going to take a timeout now. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near, gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.
Any professional sports coach will tell you there's no substitution for preparation. At Malamut & Associates, that is a tenet by which we live. We prepare from day one for victory. Anything less is not acceptable.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Jalen Hurts is in the building in Seattle. He is in the building. So I'm assuming that's a go. That's a good thing. 29-20. Eagles win tonight. I think this thing's going to be a fourth quarter game. Pete Carroll's going to want to put this thing and make this thing as ugly as he possibly can. He's got to be great in special teams. I'm talking Seattle. For Seattle to make this thing close, they've got to kind of be in the room and field position. And they can't have 3 and outs. And by the way, for me, Eagles have to start doing something that they have failed on all year long. They have got to win first down on offense and defense. They've got to limit these teams to these opportunities to be in 3rd and short. You know, it's funny. The Eagle offense has been more in 3rd and long this year, than the opposing teams. And they've got to win first down on both sides of the ball. That's my takeaway. They got to win first down. Like, make it easier on yourself. 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. Give yourself opportunities to have a playbook where you can run the ball. You don't even have to run the ball with an RPO. But if you're 2nd and 5, you can run the ball traditionally. Jordan flu game tonight. Jordan won that. See, Jalen gets this done tonight. Okay? Drew Lock won't have time to get to Metcalf tonight. Why are you saying that? You're under some sort of an opinion that you're better than Drew Lock. You're the worst 3rd down defense in pro football. That's an even matchup at quarterback, and the receivers are better than you. You don't have a guy to cover any of them, even a 13 guy. When people say that, they don't know what they're talking about. Is Drew Lock great? No, but you're worse. But you're worse. How about this? How about Seattle's pass blocking? How about Washington's pass blocking? Sam Howell was on pace to be put in a coma. He got to him one time in 8 quarters. What are you talking about? You're making it sound like you're some sort of iconic defense. You're gangrene. Hell, you're 2020 defense. You're not. This is the worst defense that the Eagles have had, in my opinion, in 10 years. Where are you coming from? That's right. Yeah. You made Sam Howell look like Joe Montana or Doug Williams. Oh, he won't have time. Why? Because you're getting home a ton? You're worse than Seattle's offense. Seattle's offense is 20th. You're 23rd. And you're making it sound like you have some advantage. Where? Where's your advantage? I think they have an advantage on you at wideout. Because you don't have anybody to cover any of the 3 guys. You don't have enough bodies. And the people that you're using were in a garbage pail at the beginning of the year or sometime through the season. Howie Roseman went so cheap. All he did was put the Ferrari jacket on it. You know the guys that drive around in a Pinto and have the Ferrari jacket and pretend that they're like they own a Ferrari? That's what Howie did to your defense. Howie runs around with a Ferrari jacket on with a Pinto car. Here's your good players on defense. Carter, Reddick. You've destroyed Josh Sweat this year. Josh Sweat has played more plays this year than any time in his career for a single season. Am I right, Tone, when I say this? Plus 3 games. Do you understand what I mean by that? 3 games ago, he played his normal season total of reps and what he plays in a normal year. He's plus 3 games. Okay? Which means this. Right now, he's probably 120 plays or 90 plays. I'll go there. I'll go lower. He's probably 90 plays over what he's played any given season since he's been a Philadelphia Eagle. And shit, man, he's got 3 more games left. This guy's got he's got another 400 or 350 plays yet to play for a season. He'll play 350 more reps than what he normally does. And you're asking him to be your best D lineman when you're killing him with no help at depth. Okay? When's the last time you were good in a pass rush? Give me a game. And I mean it. Tell me the last game you were great in a pass rush. Prior to the season, his career high was 655 in 2021. This season, he's at 676. Think about that. He's at 676 reps. His career high is 655. He's got 3 more games left. This guy may touch 900 reps. No, it's too high. At least high 7s, maybe low 8s in reps. 800 reps. He may play 200 more reps than he's ever played in any given season. Yeah, that's helpful. Where's Nolan Smith? Yeah, really? Great job, Howie. Great depth on the edges. No wonder they can't set the edge. Man, break, man. You had 5 sacks against Dak? Okay, great. There you go. Let's see. Let's see, how many games ago was that? 4? Let's see here. How many games ago? Ass beating in Dallas, San Francisco, Buffalo, Kansas City. 5 games ago. Wow. 5 games ago. Congratulations to you, man. How many sacks have you had in the last 5 games? Tone, what would be the number? I'll take it. I don't know. What would be the number of sacks that you've had in the last 5 games since Kansas City? I don't think you got to Mahomes once. How many sacks have you had in the last game since Kansas City? Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and Dallas. That's 4. How many sacks have you had in the last 4 games? I don't really know. Is it 0? But you're going to get home 5 times tonight. What? Haven't had a sack in 4 games. We're getting there tonight. You better keep counting your pressures. 5. Okay. How are you going to get 5 sacks when they're going to throw the ball 3-step? 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. Don't you see that's what teams are doing to you? They're not going to take traditional 7 steps against you because you play off the ball. Why would I take a 7-step drop, give myself more opportunity for you to get your pass rush humming and Reddick going when I don't have to? That's why you're horrible on 1st down and 3rd down. Why? How are you getting home in 3 seconds or less than? 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. That's what teams are doing to you. Teams don't sit back there and eyeball guys because they don't have to. Up the gut? I think your guys are running out of rookie reps. Where's Carter and Davis been? Then that's a good point. Those guys need to have big nights tonight. They need to have big nights stopping the run, and they need to have a big night pressuring internally, especially. Hey, the fastest way to get to a quarterback like Drew Lock is interior pressure, not perimeter. Because some of these guys, because you don't have the secondary without Slay back there, the worst thing you can have, I think, is Drew Lock improvising because you don't really have cover guys. Keely Ringo is your answer? Hey, I say 29-20 because Hurts is in the house. Okay? I say he's in the house. He don't play, Seattle wins. But what an absolute, I agree, Brian. This is a huge night for Nick. This is a huge night for Nick Serianni. With all the stuff going around. Hey, by the way, I feel for Sean Desai tonight. How many times are going to pan up on him? Okay? Total disgrace. How they're treating that guy. The guy's a fall guy for organization. And you keep him in the building, and now you're going to parade him out in front of people. And you took his play calling. You fired him. But you kept him around. It's insane. It's utterly insane. All right. We'll look at week 15 tomorrow in the playoff picture. Coach of the year. We're going to have a ton of stuff to hit on tomorrow. Tone, what do you got tonight? I got 29-20. Hurts playing. Eagles win. They knocked the Cowboys out, in my opinion, of any kind of possibility of the NFC East. And I think you wobble them pretty good tonight, the Cowboys, because you'll take a pretty big lead. You got to stay ahead of the Niners. 28-23. Okay, I'll say this to you. If the Eagles lose tonight, Niners have home field. Home field is over. It's over. Okay? All right. I appreciate it. Hey, don't forget tonight, our pregame, our halftime, and our postgame on JAKIB Sports. We'll have all your Eagle coverage. Don't forget, too, you can follow me over on Twitter. Also, Tone, too. You can follow him on Twitter. I'm sure he's going to be barking on social media, too, what's going on tonight, too. So I appreciate everybody. It's going to be a very interesting night tonight. I can't wait to watch this thing. Xander, Big Joe, thank you. Don't forget to watch the post-game show tonight with Mike and all the folks. Tone, this should be an interesting night. I appreciate it, my friend. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Angelo Cataldi tomorrow with us, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.